May I have your attention? May I please have your attention? Super Sundays. Yeah, baby. We're back at it again. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Let's get it. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Sir Hale Speaks Super Sundays. I'm glad that you're here. I wanted to take a moment to tell you guys how much I appreciate you. We've been doing these shows for months now, and you guys have been showing up consistently as we take on and we tackle different challenges and different topics. So I appreciate you. But here's what we're trying to do going forward. We want to grow this audience to people who need to hear content like this. And so we need your help. How can you help us? That's a fantastic question. Be sure to make sure you hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell for all of the content that we have, particularly Super Sundays. All right, guys, sit back, relax, enjoy. Make sure you invite somebody to Sir Hale Speaks Super Sundays. We're getting ready to go in. We're going to have a good time. Happy Sunday, everybody. Let's get to the show.
Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast. Go deep, I OD on them. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast. Go deep, I OD on them. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. Down, levitate, going up, elevate. Watch me demonstrate. On time, never late. I grind, celebrate. No pump, fake, hesitate. I've been scoring every day. Champagne, Perrier. Since 9-3, been in the box, now stepping up to home. Like straight out the sand lot, now I'm plotting on the globe. I work hard, I show love, that karma steady growing. Got this far, I go hard, let God take control. I was starving skinny, now my weight up, got no energy for haters. See you trying, see you later. I'm shooting for the stars, need no laser beam, blowing like the greatest, but it's one who's always greater. Yo, go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast, go deep, I OD on them. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast, go deep, I OD on them. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. Smile good, skin clear. This here my year. Hey, look up here. This here my tier. Same fit 4 days. I grind 4 ways. I play no games. All me, no blame. On the wave, my own wave. Can't stop my shine. In the lane, my own lane. Can't stop my grind. 40 yard in the V12 and like 1.5. At 19, I cleared 19 in a month, no lie. Oh God. I was starving skinny, now my weight up, got no energy for haters. See you trying, see you later. I'm shooting for the stars, need no laser beam, blowing like the greatest, but it's one who's always greater. Yo, go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast, go deep, I OD on them. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast, go deep, I OD on them. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees.
Young is coming to you live from a place where nobody else know to take it. They hand out, they want us to split the pie, right? Cause they realize that we gone crazy. Yeah, I flipped my pie, really did that 180. Yeah. I flipped my pie, really did that 180. Young is coming to you live from a place where nobody else know to take it. They hand out, they want us to split the pie, right? Cause they realize that we gone crazy. Yeah, I flipped my pie, really did that 180. Yeah. I flipped my pie, really did that 180.
Who's that gon' tell me I can't do? Better be on time with my bankroll. Talk fat, no ball cat, no lit word. Routine like clockwork, my wrist word.
Let's go like that. I flourish the cook, got no roof on it. I'm taunting, I'm all in the moment. Everything lit, I don't miss. Till someone get John on the line, say the invoice is coming. I'm thumbing through stacks of that cold ball. They egging me on, so I'm going off. I got them mad, I show off. They treating my life like it's no law. I never flex looks above my means. I spit the cream on my tribe, don't I? Don't bone me, don't know me, you not regime. To the one with the condom, my eye is on it. Yeah. I see you move through the base, they precaution, they snaking, they seeing me. Money tree, wake up the royalties. I got a queen, yeah, she go with me. She making me feel like I'm royalty. It's probably cause we royalty. I just got fresh with the golden piece, shrug, show the emoji, okay. You know it's me, diamond soul, dancing, singing like Jodeci. 10 out of 10 every time till they notice me. What you thought I was supposed to be. Ain't nobody close to me. Granted, my hits touch the billboards, and they printing my face on the billboard. They envy my drip, I'm enlightened. You should let go of that hate, but you feel more. I make them rage every time they get flame when they hear what I say, coming straight from the source, yeah. I come a long way from the coast by the shore, my boy, I'm enjoying this. Young kids coming to you live from a place where nobody else know to take it. They hand out, they want us to spit the pie, right? Cause they realize that we going crazy. Yeah, I flip my pie, really did that 180. Yeah. I flip my pie, really did that 180.
Who's that gon' tell me I can't do? Better be on time with my bankroll. Talk fat, no ball, can't
And now, your host, Sir Hale Speaks. My bad, folks. Y'all know what time it is. Welcome to another edition of Sir Hale Speaks. Super Sunday. Glad that you guys are here. Welcome back. We're glad to see everybody tonight. Listen, we're in for a great show. On your way in, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and be sure to share this out. We're in for a dope show. So let me give you what you came here for. Ladies and gentlemen, bringing to the stage first, the one and the only Miss Mo Reacts is in the building. Show your love. Oh, she's in the building. What's going on with you? Good to see you. Yep, everybody, my brother from another mother, the man of prestige is in the building. Y'all show your love for my brother. He's in the building. What's up, man?
Yes, sir.
Everybody, hey, duck, take cover. Trigger Mike is in the building. What's going on, my brother? Salute to you. Glad that you are here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to have the right steps from going from one place to marriage, we got the coach. Dating to marriage is in the building, Lady DTM. What's going on with you? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for being here. Y'all know what time it is. The tribe is in the building. What tribe is this? The Harris tribe. They in the building. What's going on, y'all? How you feel? And y'all know what time it is. It's the one of the only. It's the stoic himself. The one of the only. Sir Charles is in the building. What's up, brethren? Oh, yeah, y'all on mute. Y'all on mute today.
Good evening, family. What's up?
Excellent. Good to see you,
Charles?
man.
Hi.
All right, y'all. You know what time it is. Look, I ain't seen you in a week, so it feel like it's been a long time for you. How y'all been? How's your week been?
Super blessed and stressful at the same time.
Yes, exactly
I
that.
concur. I concur with that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Charles, what you doing over here in our week?
All is well.
Hey, it's been one of them.
Yep, that's what's up, y'all. Listen, salute to the chat, y'all. Thank you guys for being here. You know, we love y'all. You know, we rocking with you. We appreciate y'all being here. Be sure to hit that like button. Tell people to come on over. It's going to be a dope show today. Now, typically we get into some shenanigans, but tonight I think we're going to do something different. I'm kidding. We about to get into some shenanigans. We're going to respond to the first thing first. And let you know what we think about what this lady has to say about nurturing. Let's take a look at this.
As a woman, I am naturally a nurturer. That means that I naturally care for things and for people in a way that's going to develop them and grow them. When I get into nurturer mode, that literally comes right after I'm in like a cultivation period. I've cultivated a thought. I've cultivated an idea. And cultivation literally means to prepare, to plan, to break up, to get ready for growth. Now, let's say I take all of that skill and start to cultivate and nurture the wrong job opportunity, the wrong relationship, the wrong financial move, the wrong move to the wrong state. Let's say I nurture this bad decision. What do you think I'm going to grow? Unhappiness, depression, sadness, anxiety, because I'm nurturing the wrong things. So watch what you nurture. Try your best to take calculated risks. You don't got no time to waste. As a woman, I am now.
Okay, guys, so got two questions for you. Number one, if she says, as a woman, I'm naturally a nurturer. So let me start with that one first. In the grand scheme of relationships today, can we say that most women are nurturers? Let's start with Sir Charles, and then we'll go around. Are most women nurturers?
Sorry. I wouldn't say that most women are nurturers. I think we've come into a culture nowadays that the modern woman is self-serving. And so she's going to nurture her own interest. Nurturer implies grandma, mama Neil, auntie, that bring in people and actually cultivate and foster their growth selflessly. I think we're in a very selfish culture nowadays, and I hate to say it, but I don't think women are natural nurturers. I think women learn that from their mothers, their aunties, their grandmother, and unfortunately, a lot of our grandmothers are 40 years old, raising, trying to raise girls, and these young girls are too busy twerking for the gram. So I don't know. I don't think women are natural nurturers.
Tell us how you feel, Sir Charles. All right, man of prestige. What about you, man? Are women in the landscape today natural nurturers?
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
All right. So the environment where we are today, things are a little tricky. I think it'd be probably easier to just look at things on the surface and say, no, they're no longer nurturers. I don't feel that way. Okay, I have to go back to my personal circle. I have to go back to, which is quite a bit of people, right? Because I'm also a leader in my community, and I have to say, women still tend to be natural nurturers. If I start to expand that out to what I see on the internet, it's very easy to start to feel like things are changing, But I also know that things are changing, But in what direction? With respect to what, right? What exactly are we measuring against? Are we measuring outside of the context of now, right? These are the things that we really have to take a closer look at before we make a blanket statement that women are no longer nurturers. I do think that in the right environment, people that are raised a certain way women still tend to be natural nurturers. So it just all depends. The word that we're afraid of is depend. It still depends on what we're talking about. I need some specifics there.
I mean, that's a good perspective. So you're saying essentially, from where you come from, your context, you see this normally, but it's kind of predicated on how the people are cultured around you. I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Trigger Mike, what about you? Are most women today, are they nurturing?
The way I interpreted what that lady said, so we cannot get out of the fact that women are natural nurturers. So I'm gonna put emphasis on that word natural to say the women that we think of today, the modern woman is acting outside of her nature to be whatever it is we see out here and categorize them by. That's the way I look at it. They're acting outside of their nature because men have created a social construct in order for them to do so. I promise you, the second men start being men and requiring women to do the things that they've traditionally done, it will naturally change the atmosphere in which women perform. And I can also understand why most modern men wouldn't believe that women are natural nurturers, because many of them have not seen it, right? So when we look at the definition of nurture, it's to care for and encourage the growth and development of. Women have cut that in half. Yes, they will care for, but without fathers in the home, without the things we suffer from in the community, they can't really do that other part with, the growth or development of part. So that's why most men are seeing half of what a woman can do. That lady made a really profound statement about women nurturing the wrong things. We know women are nurturing. That's why they out here picking dudes that are unworthy and thinking they can develop them up into something, even though that's not their general purpose in life to do that, right? You're not supposed to fix a man. You're supposed to add to. So yeah, they're using that nurturing spirit to think they can turn Pookie into Me, I'm just saying. I'm playing. But still.
Hey, talk your stuff, Trigger. Talk your stuff. Harris Child, what about you? What do you think? Are most women today are they nurturing? Now, and Trigger. So I want you to hold on to what you said before, because there's two interesting words: is naturally nurturing. It's like two big words. And when I take what you say and I think about what natural means, it literally means without any like human intervention. Like it just is what it is without any influence. And if we believe that women need to be cultured that way, is it fair to say that a woman being a nurturer is natural if she needs the influence of other people? So something to think about. We'll come back to it in just a second. Harris Tribe, what about you guys? What do you think?
I think women are born with the ability to be nurturing. Of course, each individual environment is going to dictate whether they are that or not. And like the young lady said, as far as nurturing something negative, it's going to create a dynamic in a woman, you know, a wall of fear or whatever, or the option to not want to nurture anything else, you know. So yeah, the women nowadays, I don't think they are innately, naturally nurturing. No, in my opinion. Sir?
Respectfully, I would disagree a little. I think they are. I think they start out as such. You know, baby dolls, and you know, the bird that they see hurt, the natural care, the natural empathy. I think they all start out a certain way. And I think, you know, I would be in line with Trigger Mike and the young lady about practice. I would just analogize it differently. I'm a sports person, so I would say practice. The things that you practice, you become better at. And they've just be practiced more of, you know, being independent, being strong, being, you know, self-sufficient. And that is what they've, you know, become experts at. And along with that comes the characteristics, the hard exterior, the negativity, the attitude, the pessimism, and so on and so forth. So I think naturally, yes, they all start out at go nurturing and aspiring to nurture. But I think experiences in life, you know, deters that and makes it what we see now.
That's a really good perspective. Dang. Y'all know how like before a show, right? You got these questions you got, and then somebody say something that it gives you another question. I'm gonna try to be good tonight and not do all that. So, Lady Di, what about you? What's your thought about this? Are most women today nurturing?
So, I mean, I would say, yeah. I think they just have natural emotions. So, emotionally, they're able to react in a certain way that seems nurturing. But I do believe it's going to come from how you were raised. So, if your dynamic in your house was very not loving, like your parents didn't say, I love you, they didn't hug you, you know, let you feel what that is, a woman is going to naturally just react in a way of trauma. So if she doesn't receive that and then she becomes an adult, there's no way she's going to be nurturing because she never even felt the nurturing from her parents. So at the same time, if a woman is raised with that and you know, she gets into a situation where she's kind of like forced to be nurturing, it's going to come out because she knows how, because it was done to her. So she knows how to bring it out naturally. But then you have women who are just lazy, right? They know what nurturing is because they had it and they don't want to do it. So we're going to be as simple as cooking, cleaning, right? They don't want to cook at all. They want to keep comparing themselves to men and say, well, you need to do it too. You need to do it like me. We got to do it the same. And then when he's not, quote unquote, doing it how they want, now all of a sudden they don't want to do it anymore. Nurturing, it doesn't work like that. You're just nurturing and you're going to do it because you care and you want to do it. You're not going to do it because someone is forcing you to be a certain way. Even with kids, there are deadbeat mothers out there. So if it was so natural, then why are they not with their children? It's not just men. So it can be natural, but I think it's just emotions that are natural. I don't think it's nurturing that's the natural part. I mean, that's
Hold on, Lady Di. Hold on. Let me address my audience. Guys, I'm sorry about what you heard Lady Di just say. She came on here making all kind of logical sense. And we just don't do that on the internet, guys. We just don't do things like that. I appreciate you. Miss Mo reacts. What's your perspective on this? Are women naturally nurturing, particularly in today's culture?
Man, first thing I got to say is hats off to the panel. Y'all are freaking awesome. You're fire. I gotta say that right now. Everybody, everybody hit the nail on the head. Everybody, all points across the board. I have to agree with how you were raised. Food Channel said it's what you were fed. You know, yes, we start off that way from day one, out the gate, go. But it's very important to keep in mind it starts from home. It starts off what you were giving, what you were given, what you were not given. Because if you weren't given something, you're not going to give it when it's your turn to give it. You might as well hang that up. It starts at home. It starts out how you were raised, what you were subjected to or not subjected to, how you were loved or lack thereof. Then when we all start off out the gate being naturally this way, this has to constantly be said, raised, reared, if you will. It has to be a constant thing. It has to be taught. It has to be practiced. You know what I mean? Then when it's your turn, floodgates. This will be something that is instilled in you. It comes naturally to you as walking, as talking, as doing anything else that's just, you're going to do it. Not something that has to be begged for. You know what I mean?
Listen, Miss Mo, I just feel so calm after you got done saying what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, do y'all feel the same thing? I just feel so calm now. You know what I'm saying? You made a point that I like, that I think stands out, is walking is natural, but it has to be practiced and it has to be taught. It's such a deep point, because I think if we take what the lady said, that is, as a woman, is natural, I think that goes back to what Mrs. She said, what Mrs. She said had said when she said about that the potential is there, able to do it. And I think this is an important thing, because if we keep on raising girls to think that just because they're women, it comes naturally, we won't educate them. And I think that if we take that mindset that it has to be cultivated, I think we'll do a better job of being more strategic and more intentional in raising our daughters to leverage the potential to walk, to leverage the ability to be nurturing. Really good point, y'all. I can't wait to clip this. I'm making $60 off this clip. Let me bring in my brother real quick. I'm a businessman. Shout out to my brother Black Man Unfiltered. What's going on, my brethren?
What's going on? What's going on? So good to see all the family here tonight.
Yeah, good to see you, man. So let's jump right on in here. So do you believe that in today's landscape, are women today naturally nurturing? Now, y'all on the panel, I know I added to the question, but act like I didn't. Are women today naturally nurturing?
No.
All right, good show, everybody. Thank you guys for coming tonight. Really appreciate you.
Good night.
This was fun.
So BMU. So from your perspective, why not?
Well, I think that everything else is on the mind. I don't think they want to nurture. I think that's why 6-year-olds have the responsibility of watching the 3-year-old. The 10-year-old has the responsibility of watching the other 4 children, because mama needs to have a life. Mama needs to go party. Mama needs to go be with the man, spend the night with Junebug, right? And so I think
not Junebug.
Oh yeah. So, and that's why you see a lot of times, even in my own family, you see a lot of the women in my family drop their kids off at my mom's house and they're gone for 2 days. That's not a nurturing mother. A nurturing mother wants to connect with her child, connect with her responsibilities, and actually be a part of that child's growth and that part of that child's journey. Today, they're too busy. I have to do this. I have to be here. I have to be on Instagram. I got to make sure I take the Instagram pictures. I got to make sure my boo get me, my friends get me, the club sees me. And then at the end of the day, the kid does not get the nurturing. And that's why I think a lot of our moms are single moms, and their kids can't read. That's why you have middle school boys right now, particularly middle school boys who are in 6th and 7th grade reading on a 3rd grade level. They're not being nurtured. They're not being paid attention to. They're not being taken care of at home. So that's why I said no.
That's such a good point. Yeah, taken to what Black Man just said, it looks like when we take into social media, our jobs, and this is going to be open for anybody to answer, it does kind of seem like we're in the generation today, we nurture things and we no longer nurture people. Do you guys see that? Do you guys agree? What's your perspective on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel I'll jump in really quick just to piggyback off of Black Man. Uh, kids are being some kids seem like they're more of an inconvenience to their parents or to the and it don't even gotta you don't even have to put an age on that no more. Ain't no set age. You used to could say, oh yeah, these young people. No, I beg to differ on that. It ain't got no age. It ain't them young people. It ain't them. It's just everybody. Just it don't matter what age you are. Kids are being looked at as they're like an inconvenience. It's like it was all fun and games when you was pregnant and showing, oh look at you know what I mean? It was all fun and games until the baby really came. Then it got real. And then as they grew, the children grew up and yeah, then it sets in. Then, you're trying to do everything else. Like you said, like man said, the pictures, the gram, the club, the friends, the whatever, everything else and everyone else is more important than your child. You know what I mean? They're looked at as an inconvenience.
That's a big point because I see that as well. I saw this now I don't like to talk about stuff like this, but I remember seeing I was at a store, and in Walmart, just on the phone. I mean, just in it, shopping in it, kid crying, making noise. Is like this thing, like this device, got the attention of a mother, while the little kid is screaming, not getting the attention that it needs. And I find that in today's world, we care about things, and we know that the care we have about things is like it should be for people. It looked like the Harris Tribe. You guys had something to say on this as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, it's a sad day for the kids. I talk about it all the time on my platform. I actually shame a lot of women. I shame bad mothers because they need to hear it. They need to see a reflection of their foolish and bad behavior, and it's repeated. We all grew up in a lot of dysfunction. We saw it. We know what it looks like. We know what it created. So to not be purposeful with our children, not to be intentional with our children, especially when it comes to education. I talk a lot about the schools indoctrinating our children. They're grooming them for pedophiles. They're grooming them for a lot of inappropriate things, to be attention whores. I don't know if I can say that. I apologize, but yeah, it's a lot of that going on. And,
Attention
again,
whores is correct.
yeah, there's no age difference because you have 40-year-old women doing the same thing, parading their children around. And there's no shame. Nobody can tell any woman anything because, it's not even about control anymore. We want to be superior. So you can't tell me nothing because the way I move is right and everything I say is correct. And this is the modern day mindset. And it's sad, the instant gratification. Our children are very uneducated. So, I don't know where we're going to go from here. So I just speak about it just to put an emphasis on the reflection. And hopefully, some ladies would see that they need to do a little better when it comes to their children because they're failing in school. It's our fault.
I believe too that I think a lot of us women need to have a little bit more self-reflection. So, for example, my mom, she's a great mother, but there was a point in time where she was nurturing things, which was nurturing her job, because at one point she was a single mother and she realized that she wasn't able to do the things that she used to do with me, which is, help me with my homework and cook dinner, on a daily basis, teach me how to be a woman, all the little common things for a little girl. So she actually quit one of her biggest jobs and got a different job, which was still great for her, but it cut down her hours. And she did that for me because she knew that this wasn't going to be right raising me as a becoming a woman. So as what I'm saying is, none of us are perfect, but as long as you recognize what's going on, because there are going to be times where you're going to nurture things and you're going to quote unquote neglect your child in a way, but know that you're doing it and stop and understand that your children are more important than these things, because when they grow older, they're going to hate you. Then what? Was your job important then? So we just got to do better with that.
So what you just said, Lady Di, is a story about healthy, like a healthy version of how a woman conducted that process. And that's great. But we see a lot of unhealthy nurturing out here. So I still believe women are natural nurturers. So then the question becomes, what could make a woman stray out of her nature to become what modern women have become today? Now, I believe it's attention. The same way whiskey will put you under the influence and make you act out of character, attention will put a woman under the influence to make them act outside of their nature. That is the biggest drug for women today. Well, second biggest, but I know the biggest one. Ooh, my coffee. All right.
The first biggest.
Yeah, it's actually hope. But I'm gonna do a whole thing on that. I'll invite you. You too, Sir Hale. But yes, this overinflated sense of self is what has women intoxicated and not, like Black Men Unfiltered said, not wanting to spend the time with their child reading. They are being distracted by whatever is out there, and it's actually chemical. We call it the dopamine-driven society for a reason. They have to have that in their head to make them act outside of their normal nature. Wherever you go in society where these things aren't present, women are naturally nurturing and 100% willing to do their roles as traditionally given to them by God, as we see in other countries. Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think that point was well made. I do think that I'll change my outlook. I do think they're natural nurturers. I think they suppress it for the attention. I think that it's a suppression. So basically, I'm a natural nurturer. I know that I'm a mom. I know this is the thing that God built the woman to be, right? So it's natural for them to gravitate to their children. But something else is calling me. And if I stay here with my child tonight and not drop this kid off at my mom's, or leave my kid at the after school program, or leave my kid waiting on me and go see this dude may not want me no more, right? My friends may not hang out with me no more. So what I made more important is I made my friends and the world more important than my bonding with my child. So I suppress what I need to do naturally to do what I need to do unnaturally, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So yeah, I agree with that point, sir. I agree with that.
I have a question. How much of what we're calling nurturing, particularly with respect to how women nurture, is social construct, right? How much of it is? Because the one thing that's constant in life is change. How people nurtured, if we start to break it down into layers in the 80s, is not how it was done in the 60s. I went further back for a reason, right? And you can keep going further back. So how much of that is social construct? And do we even have room? Do we know these things to even assess it and to see that this is an actual breakdown into social construct? They're evolving. A lady that earlier said something about cooking and cleaning, right? How much of this stuff goes into social?
That's biblical. Now I can't tell you the scripture. Don't ask me, but it's biblical somewhere in there.
What's the
Listen, before we
so I actually wrote.
Before we get off and answer Ola's questions, Sir Charles, did you have something on the last question?
Absolutely. I kind of wanted to piggyback.
So Ola, hold that question. Then we're going to come back to it right after Sir Charles.
Off of something that Trigger Mike said earlier, and as far as like men allowing women to be this way, and I will, and I don't want to argue which one came first, the chicken or the egg. Who started acting up first, women or men? We don't know, but we do know what can actually repair our situation as a culture, right? And one thing is that I look at how I was raised, right? My mother never had to work really because my father took care of everything as far as like provision. So my mother could actually focus on being a mother. I was blessed in that way, perhaps lucky, or whatever you want to call it. And a lot of times I do see men dropping the ball as it pertains to taking care of their children, and women do have to go out and make a living, and they can't necessarily tend to the children like our mothers and our grandmothers did. But on the other hand, though, some of the responsibility has to be on the women for their actions. Like Sir Hale, you were talking about how the mother was consumed with her cell phone, right, and ignoring the child. Well, I also seen it in the reverse, even with my own daughter. I'm gonna be honest with you, right? Just to make it personal, my daughter allowing the tablet to raise my grandson, and you know, and I find that a lot of these modern women, they just want to get through the day. They're not forward thinking that this boy is going to be a man someday and this girl is going to be a woman someday. They're just getting through the day, and before you know it, video games and tablets and all this other has raised your child, and you don't even know them. And by the time they're you know how the Bible talks about when you're young, you're like a sapling, right? A small tree, you can pick it up, plant it, shape it, do it. Well, by the time this thing gets roots down, you can't move it. It's almost impossible to shape it. And so, and I think this is great that we have these conversations, because it's not just pointing the finger at who's right, who's wrong, and who's right. Hopefully somebody can pick up something, a gem, and say, yo, I need to focus, be more forward thinking with my children, and not just get through the day, because at some point you're going to be staring your child in the eyes of, you're going to be staring your child in the eyes as adult to adult. You know, one day they're going to be adults, and you're going to have to answer for what you did, and you're going to reap the what you've sown. So that's the other thing in the reverse is that, and so the thing about it is like natural, and I think we argue semantics here. What's natural, right? I think nature
Prestige get happy with that word.
nature happens whether man influences or not. Man influences or not. That was my definition of nature. But I certainly understand what Trigger Mike actually said. Is that, yeah, I mean, perhaps you could look at it like that. Yeah, perhaps it is in them. It's just suppressed, or it was never taught, or it's never nurtured. They were never nurtured in that way. And we all know that you can only give what you've received. You know, people give hate or people give hate because they received hate growing up. A lot of times, people give love because they receive love. And so, but that's all I want to yield the floor with. That is that, you know, men and women we both need to take responsibility on how we're holding each other accountable. And I'm really upset. I get upset with these fathers who really put the onus of raising these children squarely on the mother. And it's like, I look at it like this. I used this analogy one time with my, I was about to, anyhow, it's kind of like playing a 2-player video game. One person playing a 2-player video game with both controllers like this is nearly impossible. But you
why'd they buy a 2-player video game? Why'd they buy a 2-player video game when they're by themselves?
Yeah, right. I'm saying it's kind of like playing a 2-player video
game. Possession is 9/10 of the law.
So I'm saying you can probably yield good results, but that's not how it's meant to be. And both of us need to step up, men and women. And I yield the floor.
All right, now, can I respond to that?
But yeah, before we go, we got to get to Ola. We got to get to Ola's questions, okay, and then we get back. I told you yesterday what happens. We got these questions. Then somebody say something. We got more questions. It's gonna get good. Man's Prestige. What was your question, bro?
Very simple. How much of what we consider a woman nurturing today was part of social construct?
So yeah, I actually wrote that down as a rebuttal to what Sir Hale was asking me earlier. So when we look at this, we have to look at the macro, even in the entire world. If we're going to generalize women and say women are natural nurturers, we can't look at the Black community, can't look at white people, Chinese people. We got to look at everybody. So then you break it down to what societal norm is there to where we can make such a generalization. The jobs that we pick in life. All right, I'm a nurse, but only 9% of men are nurses. And I only became a nurse so I could dominate the administrative part of it, right? So women gravitate to places like, I know you've heard Jordan Peterson speak. He said in Scandinavia, where they've made gender equality the purpose of the law, it did not make people more the same or women want to be engineers. More
Wider.
women became nurses.
Yep.
Because they were left alone and it wasn't advertised to them to become engineers. It wasn't advertised to them to become coders. They will become more teachers. They will become more nurses. That's natural. Nobody's pushing it on them. More men will become engineers. More men will become policemen. More men will do dangerous jobs in society. I believe by that metric alone, it tells you that even the job, as much as nurses complain about the job being hard, about them not having resources, they have an urge to care for people. You see what I'm saying? And the overwhelming majority of those type of professions that deal with people are women because they want to care for them.
Now they just want the money, just being real.
For real.
For real.
But he used the perfect term, which is social construct, right? So look at the construct that we've built. I believe there are only 3 or 4 real professions in life, or types of jobs: warrior, builder, healer, and society support. Women, 99.9% of builders and warriors are men, right? And women are mixed into the healer and society support roles because people are there. It's nothing but concrete and gunpowder in the other, areas. So women don't gravitate to that, no matter how much we open it up or try to equalize across things to put them in there. They won't come.
Anybody else have a response for this?
Yeah,
Really good question.
Yeah. So you just kind of that was profound, by the way, putting it into like 4 categories like that, right? But like I said earlier, when you start to peel those layers apart, starting with even just the context of every decade, right? Starting with the changes that we see in just our social engineering, those that are deliberate, those that are just the natural order of things, the fact that change is constant, right? How much attention do we pay, even if we're capable at all of paying attention to these things changing? These things are changing in front of our eyes, and that's what we're talking about, right? But are we paying attention to it's supposed to change, or are we saying no, it shouldn't change? And what moral standards, what standards are we using to measure what is supposed to, what is not, what is inappropriate, right? And these are social issues at the end of the day, right? So that's my question. Like, we're not, as individuals, we're not capable of peeling these layers at so much level that is happening at, right? But then we tend to look at things with our own lens and filters, right? And say, hey, things are going wayward. Somebody said it's evolving. Somebody said it's devolving. I say your choice. Which one is it?
I think that there's no morals at all in this culture, in this society, because there's no families. Everybody is like separated. They're either having babies without getting married, or they're getting married and they're getting divorced. So what type of morals are you going to instill into kids that are going to become adults? Even with us, from back in the day, some of us didn't have parents either. It's like the same cycle. So when did it end is the problem, or the question. When did that end where no one wants to be married anymore? Everything is so divided. Why did that even change? Because we can blame the social media. We could blame some of the music videos. We could blame celebrities, but that's on TV. What about in everyday life? You wake up, you go to work, you go home. How did that change that dynamic? Because you wanting something that's on a television, you're not even living that life. So I think that people just need to stop being immature and stop. I think it's being lazy, number one, and just being immature. So that's what I think.
Yeah, Mr. He said had a great conversation about this when there's a video out there where a lady's saying, I'm going to marry the man that I want. He has money. And when I marry him, I'm marrying him for that sole purpose. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to get fat. I'm going to get lazy. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. I'm going to get as unattractive as I can to this man. So when I choose to leave, I could take half of everything he has.
I want to clarify something you said. You said that this was a video that a woman said this?
Yes. Mr. He said has it. Yeah. And she said she'll get as unattractive as she can for that man not to be attracted to her anymore. And when he starts complaining about it, she'll leave and take half of everything he has. She does it purposely. She's doing it purposely.
There's a video Mr. He said, send that clip to me really quick. I want to poster this on Sir Hale's network for all men to avoid her.
So a question about that. Has she been married before?
Problem solved.
I have no idea. She didn't go into the personals, but those were her words. I'm going to get as fat. She said, I'm going to get as fat as I can, lazy as I can. I'm not going to work. I'm not going to do anything. And when he gets tired of me and he decides he doesn't want me anymore and he leaves, then at that moment, I've set myself up to have half of everything he has.
Yeah, but I wonder if she was just talking.
Talking about purpose. I was going to ask black men, how much, on the scale of 1 to 10, how much do you want me to take us seriously?
No, let me tell you something. If somebody's, I don't want to use this word because it's strong language. If somebody is ridiculous enough to say that online, I believe everything that they're saying.
Exactly.
All of it.
No, I believe her.
Not just that, they're promoting it.
Yeah,
they're promoting it because you wouldn't believe the comments behind it, the women that's, praising for it.
Oh, yeah.
So you have some idiots that listen to
believe
these
it.
things, and this is what we're creating because you have women that are not positive in love and positive in marriage, and they're fearful, and they create all these walls and dynamics, and they're spewing this on the social media. There's so much false
I believe her.
education out there, about you gentlemen, and it's sad because a lot of women who haven't even experienced this type of trauma go out into the world and thinking that men are out to get them, and it's a sad day.
And the saddest thing is not only that she said it, the saddest thing is when you go in the chat and you see people that you'll never meet or never was on that video say, you know what, that's a good idea, girl. Thank you. Wow, I shouldn't have thought of that earlier. I should have done this to my husband 2 years ago.
Yeah, but you know what? but you know what? It's like Mrs. She said, just said, it's a sad day in the world, sad days when you read the comments after watching whatever it is that is ridiculous. The comments just be flowing in, and it's like nothing surprises me anymore as far as what I read, as far as the negativity and the hate that is being spewed out. Now, people that are so quick to be talking all of that yin yang mess, what goes around comes around. All y'all know about that.
Right.
Them type of people that spew out, in other words, like, I'm going to get them before they get me type thing. Yeah, okay. Them type of people is the same people when it's going to hit them like a ton of bricks. They going to meet that one, and it's going to be that one that does it to them. They going to go in, they're going to be all in. And because they put all of that out there and they're hard with it and they mean it with a passion and they're putting everything that they have into that, come on, what goes around comes around. When you do that for a long enough period of time, and then if you come to your senses real quick, you forgot what you put out there. That's that person that's going to do it to you.
All right, so I'm gonna take this serious.
Hold on a second. Let's get that time to breathe. Get a little time to breathe, because I think. And man, appreciate. I want to get you after this, but I think what you said is so important. People don't get that, and then they get 40 and 50 and 60. Like, you know what? Why is this happening to me? I'm a good person. I'm like, you forget all of 20 years of recklessness. But now you a good person is, So I appreciate you saying that, because I think who said it before, Sir Charles, is that we're not forward thinking, but particularly our women are like, they're not forward thinking. And when stuff happens, they don't connect that this is the result of the thing you did previously. So really big points. Thank you so much, Mrs. Mo Reacts.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. The only thing that I would add is I did a show yesterday that talked about the DRD4 gene. If many are not aware, you guys should look it up. But like the brother up top was saying, the dopamine is what cultivates it and nurtures it. And this is what, gives us a propensity to lean toward the more exciting, sensational things, and to not be able to stay in situations for long periods of time. Makes us really spacey and temporary in actions. And like you guys are alluding to, the lack of nurturing, I think it's just being targeted in a different area now. I think the indecisiveness is being nurtured. The lack of, stability is being nurtured. And that's why, you can leave a relationship because you're not happy. Things can be good one day and not the next day because of this lack of ability to be stable, to have something, of a foundational value. And, as scientific as it is, it was very interesting to dive into those points and get some of the information that I got, because it just constitutes and shows me a lot of the behaviors. They definitely stem from a place, not to say it's an excuse, but it definitely attributes, and I can see a lot of the remnants of it in a lot of different attitudes. It leads to schizophrenia, it leads to bipolarism, and a lot of different things that we see in our community that we would just write off as, this person is crazy or yada yada. But I think there's very deep reasons on why we see what we see now, why people value what they value now. And it's not a coincidence. The one thing that can negate this, gene is high quality parenting. And poor quality parenting will absolutely cultivate it in the negative direction. So that information was very telling, and just showing that the poor quality and the lack of attention to parenting and the lack of importance and value of parenting is the reason why we see a lot of what we see today.
Right. All right. I think I was asking that question because if I'm going from a scale of 0 to 10, right, how much I should take it seriously, on a scale of a 0, that's just a troll. Let's not pay attention to it, right? On a scale of 10, like no. As a matter of fact, you can multiply that by 100 because of the attention that these comments are getting. You see what I'm saying? And I always say this, like, you might bring a little bit of craziness, extreme polarized view to the table. You just never know, the next person that's listening may be taking it to 1,000, in which case can create a massive chaos for all of us, right?
Exactly.
So I agree that we have to pay attention to this kind of thing and push back at it every opportunity we get when we're having this conversation, right? Especially because of the power of the attention that this whole thing is getting right here. Then I also understand that there's got to be some balance when we are reacting to these things. We have to dig a little bit deeper. In this case, sometimes we have to go back to that troll and say, where is this person coming from? All right, let's just be clear. Let's just be clear. This is a terrible rhetoric, right? We don't want more people talking about this like this recklessly on the internet because our kids are watching. Uh, by default, sometimes they have to be on a tab waiting for us by the door or something like that, and they stumble into something like that, and somehow they normalize that and think that's the norm, right? I guess we just keep having this conversation and keep pushing against it. But I do recognize that there are some trolls out there, and I want to tell the trolls: you think you're a troll, it's gonna bite you in the butt. I promise.
Dang.
No, that's right.
Better
Man, my
say
thing,
get some
my
thunder
thing
about
would
that,
be,
brother.
my thing would be, okay, and who hurt you?
Okay, Miss Mo.
Because think about it,
Right.
think about it. Anybody that talks like that, you had to muster that up and start that kind of talk from somewhere and something that has happened to you. Ain't no way you're gonna tell me that a person talking like that has never been in any type of relationship and has never ever gotten hurt or anything like that to be talking like that. You just ain't gonna just start talking like that and you ain't been in no kind of relationship in your life. Who hurt you? They hurt you bad, I guess.
There's some people who live off of other people's lives.
This is true.
I literally noticed that throughout this last year. And you would hear so many negative comments from people's relationships, and they vent to somebody. They're venting to, like, let's say a single woman that hasn't even had that type of experience, but she's living through her girlfriend. So then those are the ones that's making these trolls, is those people. And then they're going to push this out because that's what she believes based off of what all of these women, that she knows said. And I hate that. I don't like when people take other experiences that they never been through and then they say this is what it is, and they're pushing out stuff that they never experienced. That's trolls. That's the real definition of trolls.
Exactly.
Lady Di, this is the second time, and we gotta get this together now. This is the second time you're making sense again. Like, listen, let's kind of restrain that. This is the internet. Sir Charles, you got something, and then after Sir Charles, I got a question. We're gonna start with BMU after Sir Charles.
I know I might say something that it might upset some folks, but while we do some amazing things. I'm pretty sure each of one of us, being intellectuals, our groups of people are doing amazing things, probably amazing parents, pillars in our community. But are we willing to admit that there's too large of a population of us that are lazy as hell? There's too large of a population of us that our priorities are misaligned. Susie Orman, I don't know if she has a show anymore, but I used to watch her show as a shorty because whatever. So when she closed her show, she would say, people first, then money, then things, in that order, right? And a lot of times what we have, we money first, then things, then people. I look at it backwards. And here's the thing, it's not me just pointing the finger at my people because I love my people, but it's me saying that, we got to do better because relationships are work. No matter what the relationship is, whether a parent, a marriage, a friendship, being a coworker, all of us had business experiences with someone of our hue that you like, man, I ain't uncle no more. Man, look at here. They got me. And a lot of us know that coworker at work that does the bare minimum but want all the overtime. A lot of but the thing about it is we need to get back to a place where we value each other first. And I've always said relationship is what gonna get you to success. But we got it backwards. I mean, we so in love with consumer culture, and I don't even know what got us this way. But we are it's like a state of emergency. I think that we're in. We're so worried about getting the next gadget or the next clothing or the next car to where we're willing to do each other dirty. We'll show our kids to just feel good in the moment so everybody can say, man, you dripped out and draped up. I'm just saying it saddens me that we do each other like this. And my point is, a lot of us don't want to do the hard work of being committed to each other. I think about, I had the pleasure of raising 5 kids, 3 of which were mine biologically, 2 of which are not. I didn't feel like doing that crap all the time. I did not feel like any one of us who that are parents on this panel, that you don't feel like doing it all the time. But you know what? This is your investment. I need to be investing in this one.
Right.
And no matter how I feel, I want to see a return on my investment. But too many of us just want to lay up and get some. Oh, we're gonna get some. And as soon as that responsibility hit, we duck and dodge. And it saddens me, man, that hopefully people can see these streams and know that we have to do the work. Nothing is easy. So, we got to do the work in maintaining these relationships, especially with our children, man,
Such a good point, y'all. I want to give that a hand clap because it's so important, guys. And I think Ms. Mo alluded to it earlier. We do have to prioritize. If we're going to make these kids forget what you didn't get growing up, your trauma stories are real. Now that you got kids, it's on you to give your kids what they need. Excellent point, Sir Charles. Thank you for bringing that out. Now, switching from nurturing kids, here's my question, starting with Black Man Unfiltered, and then we'll go to Miss Mo, Lady Di, Harris, Travis, so on and so forth. Is it a woman's job to nurture her man? And if so, how does she do this? Starting with you, Black man. Is it a woman's job to nurture her man? And if so, how does she do this? Without sex.
Oh my God. Okay, let me get myself together. That question hit me like the Bible in kindergarten. Watch this. So,
Hey,
yes, I
glory.
think that it is. I think that it is. God created a woman to not only help a man, but to help nurture as well. I think that in the way that a woman nurtures a man, it's not what people would probably think, but I think that she nurtures him in motivating him, praying for him, praying with him, being a part of his everyday life, being his peace is a part of his nurturing, right? Because he may be in a chaotic situation, he may be dealing with life, and there's nothing better than to come home and to hear your woman say, "Listen, I understand what you went through out there, but in here, this is your safe place. This is your safe place," right? So nurturing him in that way, encouraging him, holding him, um, just taking him away. She's just a being that shield away from everything that he has to go back out there to. And I think that your wife, from a male perspective, I think your wife is your nurse. I think that when you get beat up and you get cut up and bruised up in the world, when you come home, that is your hospital. And she is your nurse, your doctor. She's your therapist at times, but she's your help. And I think that that's the way a woman um, can nurture a man. That's my answer.
Okay, I like it. I see where you're going with this. Oh my God, it's been too long, man. Bring that back every Sunday. Anyway, Miss Mo reacts. What about you? What's your thought? Is it a woman's job to nurture her man, and if so, how? Without sex?
Hmm.
Actually,
Glory.
we might need to add that though.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
We might
There
need,
you
we'll
go.
talk
Don't
about
you
that later
start
though.
now.
We'll talk about
Don't
that
you
later
start.
though.
So my answer is yes. Now my issue is that's an excellent question, and I don't know. It seems like black man took every single thing that I was thinking about saying
Black men
because
always doing that.
it's very important though because you touched on without sex. Yeah, has to be without that. What is that? That's a lot of people have it wrong, thinking that sex is for that, for the nurturing. You know what I mean? It's no, that's something different. You know what I mean? And so we as women, we play a lot of different roles and we wear a lot of different hats, you know. And another thing that comes to mind, just to piggyback off of what Black Man was saying, you know, aside from us being a man's peace when he comes home, aside from us being that and a lot of other things that Black Man already said, he needs to know beyond a shadow of a doubt, 100% for sure, that we, his wife, his girlfriend, whatever it is, that we are there. We are dependable. We are reliable. We are consistent. We ain't switching up. We ain't iffy. We ain't flaky. You know what I mean? He needs to know that. Period. That's it. If you ask me to do something, I'm going to do it. None of that. If you ask me to do something, I'm going to do it. And he needs to know that when he asks me to do it, he knows that I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? Now, I ain't talking about just crazy stuff. I'm talking about, real stuff. Serious. You know what I mean?
Under the
Real stuff.
umbrella of what God intended.
Exactly.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, it is our job. It is our job to nurture. It really is. We have to know how. You know what I mean? We have to know how. And this is something that I believe that we can learn if we don't like really know how to, but that to me takes time with each other, learning each other the right way, listening, learning, watching, observing. This is something that a woman can learn if she wants to learn it, if she's open to learn it and not listening to all of this to learn it. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I just want to
yeah, but I know Black man, we both here with it. It's you said something. He needs to know that you're there, and I wonder how many men in relationships can say that on an emotional, mental, spiritual level. That no matter what, I know my lady. I know she there for me. I ain't got no questions about that. I think it's a profound thing that you said. I'm glad that you raised that up. So let me get everybody's response, and then Black man, you'll be the first one to react to all this. Lady Dot, please behave yourself, okay? What's your thought about this? Is it a woman's job to nurture her man, and if so, how does she do that without sex?
So I want to piggyback of what she just said about doing what he asked. So I'm going to give one personal experience and I'm going to answer the question. So there was a time where my husband called me to do something for him. It was like a few things. He was at work. He called me. It was like 10 in the morning. And he asked me for these few things and I did them. And then when he came home, he was like, there was people saying thanks or salute to me because I did this stuff because they were like, I would never do that. And I was like, do what? You just asked me to do something. I just did it. I don't see what the issue is. But they're like, he was like, the woman that was there or the men that was there was saying that, oh, my wife wouldn't do that if I called her on a random. It was a random call. It wasn't like it was planned. And the women were like, oh, yeah, I can't do that. And I was so confused because it wasn't even nothing crazy. It was just, hey, like a favor, if you want to look at it like that. And why would I say no? Because who else is he going to call? Like, is he gonna call his child? Like, no. So you're the next closest person to him. He's gonna call his mother. His mother can't do it. So you're his wife. So instead of looking at it as a bad thing, just do it. Right? Okay. Now I'm answering the question. So do I think that women need to nurture or should nurture their man? I think they need to be nurturing wives, not nurturing moms. Because there's women who would sit here and nitpick a man, a grown ass man, telling him all the stuff he should be doing or not be doing. First of all, that's disrespectful. So be a nurturing wife and be supportive and be there when he needs you, not when you think he needs you. It's a big difference. And there's going to be times where he doesn't think you need him. I mean, he needs you, but he does. And that's the emotional part that you just have to understand your man on. So if you know that he's going through something and you want to give him a hug and say it's going to be okay, and then, give him his favorite drink or something like that, do that. But don't be all up in his, space, because some men just need to be left alone. So don't be a nurturing mom, be a nurturing wife. That's it.
Oh,
Lady Dot, we talked about this. We're going to talk about this in the backstage. Mr. He said, I'm sorry, we got to get it to everybody real quick, and then we'll come right back. Yep, we'll come right back. Mr. He said, what's your perspective on this? I know I told this how it happened. That it gets good when we get questions. Mr. He said, what's your thought? Is it a woman's job to nurture her man? And if so, how does she do it without sex?
Yes, I'm agree really, really quickly. Yes, absolutely. To care and encourage. Yes, yes. For growth and development. Yes, all of that. How to do it? Patience. Show some grace. Pay attention to detail. That is the main thing. If that's your man and he chose you and you chose him back, it's your duty. It's your responsibility to pay attention to that man and the detail in him. When he's emotionally broken, you are supposed to be there to lift him up and motivate him out of that. It's your responsibility. It's not your responsibility to gripe about the children. It's your duty to take care of them. There was many a times when Mr. He said had to work a lot of hours, and when he came home, I dictated what happened throughout the day. I told him what he missed out on his children, not to gripe and complain, but to fill him in. That's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to care, show him that nurture, and that's through kindness and consideration and agreement. You don't have to agree to everything, but to cause a fight is unnecessary. and that's the part of listening to understand versus listening to respond. It's something us ladies definitely need to learn. We get pre-offended with everything. So that is something when your man expresses himself about anything, don't get pre-offended. It's going to cause an argument. Sit and think about it for a second, reflect on yourself, and in a way that you can change for the better, for everybody as a whole, because it's not about us all the time. Consideration.
Sir, Hale, you wrong for this.
And look, I'm trying to keep this show under 2 hours, so I know. So look,
the LSC is in here tonight. Is killing.
Yeah, save the question after we get with Sir Charles, then we'll ask the regular question.
I'm gonna jump in real quick and respectfully, very respectfully disagree with what I heard so far. I don't think it's her job at all. I think it's her job to create a nurturing environment, to curate. If you don't know the word, y'all should probably look it up. Curate, ladies, a nurturing environment. And I think that, everything else falls into place. I'll have a lap to lay on if I need to. But I think that, the nurturing quality comes from what she cultivates for our children, what she cultivates for our home. And I really didn't see that in my younger years, until we got older. And I was able to appreciate the cultivation that she brings. When I come home, it's smelling away, it's looking away. And the only thing to complement that is some flowers. Like, I got to grab some flowers. And I was not a flower guy. But I just, later on, I saw that it just complements the curation, shows her the appreciation for what she's doing. And I think that's what's important, that as long as the home is in order, I can come home and, get on that charging station and be ready to go back out the next day and face this world that doesn't receive me so positively because of the positive energy that she gives me when I come home and I'm sitting on that charger, whether that's a foot rub, whether that's a love language being met, whether that's date night. But I think that cultivation and curation of the home creates that nurturing environment. She doesn't have to nurture me per se, because I'm grown. I've dealt with the things that I've been through, to make me the man that was in front of her. But I do want her to cultivate my environment and make it nurturing so that I have that much more energy to fight this hard world.
I hear the philosophical argument there,
Mm-hmm.
but I would combat that by saying if human beings continuously grow all throughout our lives, then it is impossible to say we have somebody who loves us and doesn't encourage and support that growth, which is what nurturing absolutely is.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll combat that point, Mr. said, but Trigger Mike, what's your perspective on this?
So I've been sitting here literally having a mental battle with myself. And I think what it is the context that you just gave was what I was going to give. If I look at the definition of the word nurture, it is impossible for me to say that women do not nurture their husband. I was going to try to separate it. I was really going to try to separate and be like, nah, I'm a full grown man out here with gray in his beard. She's not nurturing me. But looking at the definition as stated, women absolutely nurture their husbands. I'm going to try to prove that. So let's break it down because, from Black Man Unfiltered all the way to Mr. and Mrs. She Said, y'all done gave all the great answers. So cooking, being gentle, supporting. And what I mean by support is protecting my ego and image as the face of this family. Love and inspiration. All of those things are included in the development of not only the man, the husband, but the institution of the marriage itself. So I can't say that she does not nurture me, right? And if you look at that part where I said about inspiration, that is what's missing from the modern woman. She is no longer inspiring her man. She's all for self, right? So women got this thing where they're saying, well, men ain't doing this, men ain't doing that. Let me tell you something. There's only a talented tenth of men that will go out and achieve everything they're supposed to in society by themselves. What used to happen is the purpose for a man getting up in the morning was his family, was his wife, and those children that they made together. So without that woman nurturing the relationship, nurturing him, knowing he has something to come home to, that she's nurturing and cultivating that entire environment that they created together, he has no inspiration and no purpose, right? So a woman is literally so instrumental to that without their cooperation, we can see the family structure ceases to exist.
Excellent point. Then listen, y'all. Now I'm with y'all. Like I'm getting ready to break my own rules because this is too much
Man.
all up in this.
Like you cook
Meta
that.
Prestige. Meta Prestige. What about you, man? What's your perspective? Is it a woman's job to nurture a man? And if so, how does she do it without sex?
All right, so I don't know if it's a job or duty or responsibility. I do know for a fact, if we're talking about marriage, that it's in our best interest to make it our job, a duty, and responsibility, even if it wasn't, to create that environment. Like Brother Mike said, a nurturing environment, right? Instead of waiting for somebody to say this is the work, no, because of the reward that comes with that. There are great rewards that comes with putting yourself in that position and taking that responsibility as a wife and say, this is my job to create this environment, right? We know that the man set the tone and the woman makes the home and all this kind of talking point and stuff like that. And I agree, we can start, when you start to think about the word nurture, it's like, whoa, nurturing me like I'm a grown man, right? Because we're interpreting what it sounds like and what it
Mhm.
actually is, you know. The truth is that we're all human beings, men also. Yes, ladies, we are humans, right? And then we need certain types of environment to be able to grow. So the words that keeps coming into my mind, in addition to the other words that have been used so far, is inspirational, right? It inspires you to want to be better. Yes, you can do bad all by yourself, gentlemen. I'm not saying they want to be bad by themselves, but but you need that environment. It actually helps you. It fosters, facilitates that type of environment. We need it. The truth is that we need it because there's no one tree that makes a forest, you know. So if you have a great wife, she's able to give you that type of vibe where you just can't wait to get back to work. So I'm not gonna say, oh, it's our job. I'm telling her that it's in our best interest to make it her job, her duty, her responsibility because of the rewards that comes to her personally, but also her children and everything she ever cares about when it comes to marriage and having a fulfilling life.
Great perspective, man. Um, Dang, y'all. I need some cap. I need some cap to play my clips. All this is just intellectual stuff. Sir Charles, give me some cap. Is
All
it a
right.
woman's job to nurture her man? And if so, how does she do this without sex?
Well, they do call me Cap and Charles, you know.
Oh.
No. Essentially, I think we need to talk about, we're talking about the ideal man and woman situation, right? And meaning because, yeah, we know there are some exceptions to the rule. And when we, the ideal man, yes, the woman needs to be nurturing because I would dare to say that that's not in a man's nature. And so, thinking about the yin and the yang, I study extensively the yin and the yang, which is they are equal parts. They take the equal parts, but they're equal and opposite complements of each other, which creates the whole. So, we found ourselves in a culture where women are trying to compete with men, even with their own husbands, right? And so. And I've even been in a situation where a mate of mine, a woman of mine, was essentially jealous of me, and I didn't really figure. I'm like, she's benefiting from what I got going on. My pops had to point it out to me. But anyhow, don't be competitive. Be a compliment. If you when you know your man is a masculine man, do not try to match his energy. You can literally I wouldn't say control, but you could literally disarm a man or be in his great graces by being your feminine self. And so, what all does that come? I mean, every man is different, but I would dare to say that compliment that man in every way. I think Brother Trigger Mike said something about men are builders and warriors. But we don't need women to be builders and warriors as well. We need you to be the other piece of that. We need you to be the healer and the nurturer. And so, when we build a home, when we build a house, make it a home. Be our peace when we've been out there battling the world. We come home into something that's peaceful. We don't need a World War II when we walk into the door. And what does that look like specifically? I mean, that's each home is different. But I don't need the same crap that I just dealt with out there. Give me that piece. And I think that's the major piece. And I'm big on definitions. And when we talk about the definition of nurture, meaning to care for and encourage the growth or development of, absolutely. I think a man should, I always say this, a man should always be on a mission. Always. If a man falls off of his mission, then I would dare to say he would slip into some state of depression or something that is less than his ideal self. Now, what I mean by mission, right? A man should always be improving himself physically, and I'm not saying all of these things, but at least one of each. One of physically, financially, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. You need to be improving yourself in some way or another, right? And that woman needs to be encouraging the growth and development of that. And this goes right into what I always say. If that woman is acting contrary to your mission, then that's not your woman, right? It's not your woman, because she is impeding your growth when you're trying to grow. But we all know that all men aren't really trying to grow in some areas. Some men are just couch potatoes, right? And so that's why I say, hey, every situation is different. And so that's my piece. Absolutely. I think when a man, the ideal man, when he's on the mission, a woman needs to be complementary to that, thus being the nurturer, for sure.
So what about these women who are working like you?
Well, okay, so here's the thing. And that's awesome you bring that up, because here's what happens. Black folks have bought into consumer culture, right? And so that we have this misconception that a lot of us don't really need two incomes. But we got to keep up with the Joneses, right? Because
right.
You know how many black folks frown upon Hyundais and Kias, and they got all the bells and whistles. All the bells and whistles. But you pull up with a Hyundai or a Kia, a black person will clown you. But guess who drive Hyundais and Kias, right?
Mexicans
who are smart with their money.
Exactly.
Right.
This misconception that we got to live at the very tippity top, right, of the food, because the Jones is going to judge us if we pull up in the Hyundai or Kia. That's a misconception, and it's a rat race. We bought so much into consumer culture that it's literally breaking up our families. The brother can't keep up with the Lexus because your neighbor got the Lexus. And so what I'm saying is, to that piece right there, and I know there's some exceptions, to that piece that we need to work two jobs as a couple, that is a misconception. We bought into consumer culture, and that's really detrimental to the family.
And real quick, if I can add to what you just said about the consumer culture, when I was younger, I sold cars, and the owner of the dealership was a white guy, millionaire. He drove a purple Chevrolet Cobalt with roll-up windows.
Come on, man.
And when he got out, I said, "What the hell is he driving in for? He can drive anything." And he would come out. He would have his little shorts on with his little green T-shirt, and you would think he was somebody begging for money at a gas station. But he had a purple Chevrolet Cobalt with roll-up windows, bro. You would have never knew he was a millionaire.
And to add to that, and at least on the women's side, listen, what modern woman do we know is willing to live under what the average man can provide?
Come on now. Come on.
That's
okay,
it, what
so
you preaching.
If you want to really take it there, it's like we are not supposed to have two cars. We're supposed to have one car insurance, one car. Mm-hmm. Them kids, when we have them, if we don't qualify for public assistance, we got to pay for daycare. One of them get out of daycare, maybe we get another car, maybe we don't. The other one get out of daycare, we got a little extra money now. I got a few promotions under my belt. Now we in a better space. This is how people climb the ladder of society and leave money for the next generation and the next generation. We still trying to get the first generation up, leg up. But that Lexus was your child's college fund.
Come on, man.
If we being real, that Mercedes that you don't have enough money to get fixed when it breaks, that was your other child's
$100 to fix a light bulb.
Come
I don't know
on,
why they
man.
do it like this.
You see what I'm saying? You got Jordan. Black boys got a 3rd and 4th grade reading level, but Jordan's on their feet every month.
Come on,
man. Kumar math costs $100 a month. I know.
Priority. There's two
priorities. On the BMW, y'all know that oil change is about $250. So
let me add to the Jordan situation. Not only can they not read, and they're in the 6th grade reading on a 3rd grade level, they have 6 months of tutoring on their feet.
Come on.
Exactly.
Hey, and
exactly.
Also, too, we got another thing that contributed to the two income household was the woman competing with the man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hey, I need to have my own money too.
Yep.
Hey, all right. And here's the thing: it's not just a black issue. It's almost like it's a concerted effort to destroy the American family. Because if we can destroy the American family, then we can break you away from your kids, the parents at work, right? So who's raising the kids? The school system, right? So now we got your kids in the school system for whatever 7 hours a day, and we can indoctrinate them. Because who's teaching them at home? I'm saying it's especially worse when you add the consumer culture with the idea that our woman is competing with us, and that's why our black children suffer the most.
Yeah.
And which our culture, our community, which some people say we don't have, but we do, because we have likenesses. Our community suffers as a whole. So that dual income, that's a misconception. We don't.
And sir, if I could respond to what we were talking about in this initial question, a lot of men out there say, I don't need no woman to nurture me. I'm a grown man. Matter of fact, if I can add a little funk to it, I'm a grown ass man. I don't need no woman to nurture me. Any man that needs a woman to nurture them is a man with a little boy inside of him. So if I may take these people who talk like this, I hate my preacher voices coming out. I hate it. I want to get rid of it. However, if we look at nurturing, the definition of nurturing is care for and encourage the growth or development of. Doesn't that sound like something you would want your wife to do? Does that sound like something that only children would be able to receive from a mother? Because it says here, care for and encourage the growth or development of. So if I'm developing and if I'm becoming the man that God has created me to be, and she's telling me every day, baby, you got this. I got your back. Don't you worry about today. You good. Isn't that nurturing?
Let me respond to this. And I'm going to tell you why this is the response. Is a man, I'll be in a gym, you know what I'm saying, in a gym lifting them weights. But I think where this comes from is we see nurturing with the kids. Most of us ain't never seen a husband being nurtured.
Come on.
We seen him being screwed. Like we seen him being a provider, but we didn't see him being nurtured. And so our description of what nurturing is stopped once the baby got past 5 years old. So we don't know what it looks like. It seems foreign. Let me tell you something. I really am that kind of man where ask my wife, I don't think I need no help. I think I'm Superman. Yep. I literally believe I can do anything. Exactly. But let me tell you something that I messed up with. And it's something that I had never done before. I think my hair was hurt or something, and I just laid on my wife's like she was like she laid on the bed, sitting there watching TV, and I just come up and I lay on her. Now I lay on her, and then she started rubbing my head. Now I can't tell you how I felt inside, but what I will say is I felt relaxed, and I immediately did some push-ups thereafter. And what that did is it soothed the stress that I had. Just the touch, just that her being there in that moment. It did a lot. She didn't even say nothing. That just her being there. I don't need that all the time, but when I need it and she provides that, it does something. And I think that's part of what nature. And let me do some push-ups. Go ahead, black man.
And you know what? I'll say this, because sometimes you have to be in the position where, hey, you know what? I am Superman. I am Batman. But even Superman and Batman, even Superman went back to Clark Kent. Even Batman went back to Bruce Wayne. Mm-hmm. And even Batman was emotionally attached to his woman, just like Superman was loving Lois Lane. Lois Lane, Superman could have took out the whole world, but when Lois Lane touched his hand, she calmed him. She was just calming. The Hulk. If let's go Marvel for a second. Even the Hulk. You remember when the Hulk got big and he was tearing up everything and what's her name? She come in and just gave him a lullaby.
The white girl.
Oh yeah. Black Widow, that's her name. She came in,
not the white girl.
Yeah. She came in and rubbed his hand, and all that Hulk stuff went away. He went back down to his normal size and just laid down on her lap.
Perfect.
Thanos did that too.
Yeah. So exactly. So what happens is, I don't care how big you are. I don't care. I don't care. And a lot, and like right now, I want to say this because I love my brother, Big Bad Bull. He says, I don't need a woman coddling my grown ass. I'm completely self-confident. My parents raised me to be strong in every way, but I dig it for you men that need the calling. It's not coddling. Let me say it again for the people in the back of the room that have hearing aids. The word nurture means care for and encourage the growth or development of. It does not say in the definition coddling. If we're saying coddling, that means we're trying to add a definition to a definition that's already defined.
All right now.
Care for and encourage the growth or development of. That means you're encouraging someone to build themselves up, to be great at what they are and what they already are. So anytime you can come in, most people that are talking like this are single and have not felt the touch of a woman in a very long time. They haven't.
Big black man.
Okay,
because I'm glad you brought up Big Bad Bull. He had Sir Hale put up another comment that he said.
Mm-hmm.
He said, what did he say? I think he said something about, oh, I'm a grown ass man. A man don't need nurturing. He's something and demands respect.
Yes.
Now my thing, if you can find that comment. Now my thing is this. A lot of words and stuff that are being used. Some of it to me is semantics.
Yes.
Everything that everybody has been saying is true, 100%, hit the nail on the head.
Absolutely.
It all depends on what the man needs, when he needs it, how he needs it, and how his wife or his woman gives it to him in the time of his need.
Yes.
It ain't got nothing to do with you being a grown ass man. Everybody grown.
But
everybody grown, but it's semantics.
Right. And most of the men that are angry, and I'm not, this is not a jab at anyone.
Yes, so let me say this. Hold on. I don't want to make sure. I want to make sure we're not making this personal towards anybody.
No. Anybody at all. I was going to go back to general.
I think most men who say they don't need nurturing is because, again, our idea of nurturing is stuck in how we treat children.
Exactly.
And there's some men who want to be babyfied. So those kind of a man's man is going to see it that way. So I want to make that point clear.
Right.
Yes. It's not personal. Exactly right, Sir Hale. I think it's in the way and the meaning of how some men perceive that that when it comes to nurturing.
Let's also look at how, because I like to break things down statistically, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 70% of Black men alive today were raised by single mothers.
Oh.
So that may very well mean that these men do not know the proper definition nor the real feeling of a nurturing woman, because maybe she just had to work too hard to provide for him to grow up. So tell me who this sounds like. There's a certain type of man that treats a woman sexually a certain way, like she's disposable. He has intimacy issues. He also has a lack of desire to marry. What man does that sound like in modern times? The modern Black man.
Yeah,
the modern Black man may not know what nurturing from a woman is, which is why we see this in the chat right now. So it's not even their fault, if I'm gonna be honest.
Right.
Of course they don't know what nurturing from a woman is. I had my mother and my father in my life, so naturally I was able to see both sides of it. I think there's literally a mental block there to say, well, women, no, I'm a man. I think that is more so what can happen with a lot of these men, because they have not received. Like I say it all the time, the modern Black man may not know what it's like to have been loved properly ever in his life.
Also, too, let's look at the opposite, right? So if the woman is not nurturing, that means she's actually impeding or not taking part in your growth and development. So I mean, either she's nurturing or she's not, right? And
exactly.
So who wants to be with a woman who is impeding or not participating in your growth and development? And I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Make it make sense, Mike.
All right, anybody want to respond to this? And then we're going to move on to our last subject for tonight.
I think some men are getting some form of nurturing and don't even know it. Because they don't know, because they're not clear on what that means.
You know what? There's a lot of men out here right now. And ladies, if you're listening and if you have not been doing this for your man, I really imply that you start. A lot of men out here are machines. A lot of men out here are Iron Man. And they go out and they work and they provide, they work and they provide. But I'm guarantee you that 70% of you women will go up to your man right now and just touch his hand or walk up to him, just right into him and just put your arms around him and pull him in close and say, you know what, I love you and I appreciate you for who you are and what you have done in my life. And I want to be the woman that wants to help you grow and continue to be the strong man that I see every day. I want you to know that you can be vulnerable with me. And I just want you to have a moment with me right now. I want you to know that I love you. Half the men will probably try to hold back from having that moment or that emotion because that's what they needed. Women, go to your man and try it right now. I guarantee you, he'll give you something. He'll give you something. He'll probably, some of them probably may just lapse in your arms. Hell, because they haven't had you touch them like that in 5 years. So Hale said without sex. How many women are providing intimacy without sex? And so if you do that, if you get in a man's mind and you become that nurturing woman in his mind, man, listen, that man will run through walls for you. It's just amazing how it feels to have a woman to do that for you.
I would argue that the person that said I demand respect is saying I need some nurturing. I would
Say that
interpret
again.
I would argue that the person that said I demand respect is trying to say I need nurturing.
So yeah, we're gonna move.
Somebody said that they something and demand respect. I forget the other word that they use. Something.
So y'all cutting up tonight. I tell you what, we're gonna do this final thing. Lady Di, can you send that link to me and send it to the back chat? I want to take a look at that really quickly.
Okay.
While Lady Di is sending that, guys. All right, now listen. All right, we got 24 minutes. So I'm gonna play this TikTok and I'm gonna go over one little article and then we're gonna try to get out of here in 23 minutes. Okay.
You lying.
I know, but still,
you're lying. See, herein lies the problem. And me and you talked about this before. Look at me.
Yep. Look, I'm going through, but this is getting so good. This has been a really good conversation so far. So the premise of the show today is some secrets, actually save relationships, and I want to gauge you guys' thought on this. And how I want to go about this is I want us to discuss the difference between privacy in relationships versus secrecy in relationships. Okay. Let me share this, and we'll listen to what this lady says, and we'll take it from there. 1 second.
People believe love hurts because betrayal hurts. You might have grown up in a family where you expected to keep secrets. You were taught and told that, we keep secrets in the house because we love each other and that's what we do. And you're in a relationship now where somebody's an alcoholic or an addict, but you're not telling anybody because we keep secrets and love is keeping secrets. Well, that actually kills people. That's the opposite of love. When you kill somebody, you can't love somebody and kill them at the same time. And that's what keeping secrets does. Or you hear the story of I cheated on your father because I was so passionate about this romance and love wants what it wants and I couldn't help it. So you learned love is cheating. Man, there's so many chances to get screwed up. And it feels like so little time to fix it all. But it's really not. Once you get a handle on exactly how this has impacted you and where that wounding is, you're really able to break free. We can believe love hurts.
Okay, guys, you heard what she said about that. What did you guys think about that clip? A lot of that stuff we learn, we see lying and secrets early on, and we take that template into our adulthood. And so we have this unhealthy view of being honest and truthful with the person that we're with. What did you guys think about that? Let's mix it up a little bit. Trigger Mike, what you think about that?
Can you come to me second?
Yeah.
I'm sitting in the middle of a development of thought. I wanted to go deep into
development of thought. Okay, I tell you what, Black Man, let's start with you, and then we'll go counterclockwise.
I think that from a biblical aspect, I think that the scripture that reigns true in my head is you become what you are around. Most children grow up listening to mama have those conversations with auntie, right? They listen to daddy have that conversation with uncle. And when you around a lot of men, as I was when growing up, I heard a lot of men say, "Hey, listen, you know, when you have a woman and a wife and you want another woman, you don't there's rules to it." And I'm thinking, okay, what the rules? This is me, 12, 13, just sitting under the tree. The rules is you have a wife, but you get you another woman. But when you get that other woman, you have to get you one that ain't gonna be in your business, ain't gonna come to your house, ain't gonna call. And when you get the other woman, you good. You good if you get you one like that. But you gotta find the right one. That was the conversation, right? You had mama saying to the girls, um, don't let your left hand know what your right hand doing, and vice versa. Always have a separate account in case you want to leave in the middle of the night while he's asleep, right? All those little different trigger things that they would say around kids, and then kids grow up and they start to think that you start to carry the family the toxic family tradition on, and then you get to talking about it in your kids, and so it's just a repeat action until someone decides to break the generational curse, um, because that's just exactly what that is.
Mhm. It's my go now. All
Yeah,
right,
come
cool.
on, trigger us, Mike.
Got you. I got you. So I mean, it's very profound. And when you look at the difference between privacy and secrets, so I think privacy is it can be self-gratifying, right? To keep you free from discrimination and judgment of others. You keep things private, right? But secrets, just like Black Man said, secrets can be interpreted as betrayal.
Mhm.
And I don't think people are inept to think that they don't know that they betrayed their partner, right? And that's exactly where that division comes from. So a secret account, make no mistake, is betrayal. All right. If you're going through divorce proceedings and a woman got 50 grand in an account where you got laid off and you were wondering how you're going to pay the rent, the mortgage for the next month, I'm going to feel betrayed that she had 50 grand sitting in an account and just thought to say nothing. Right. So that I believe is a hard difference. I believe.
Wait.
Yep.
Let me ask that real quick, and I want to give this Mr. and Mrs. C said in this after this as well. So what if she was saying, she was stashing that up? Now, of course, we know that in a divorce, right? That's y'all stuff. So it is wrong to do that. But she was saying because he has a career, let's say he's making money, she's not. She stashed that away so she could have something, right? So in her head, she's keeping that secret because she's looking out for her own interest. What would you say about that?
I would say it's selfish and it's still betrayal. The reason being is that when we look at what men have, that is not traditionally something that men do at all. And I think I've heard somebody that literally works for a bank say, other than a man's business account, his wife has access to all of his accounts, business, personal, to be able to make moves. And it's expected of men to do so a woman can have access to provide for his family, regardless of if he signs off on it or not. So if I'm doing this as the person who's maybe making more money, leaving myself open this way to do something solely for yourself after I made the biggest, most open-hearted move a person can make, which is to give you access to everything, is selfish, and I feel like it would still be betrayal. It's literally having one. If it's not one whole foot, it's a few toes out the door. That's not what we signed up for.
Yeah. And I don't know, like when you are in a relationship leading into a marriage and then you're in the marriage, I don't believe in secrets. I think that once you say I do to somebody, you're saying I do to your secrets. You better start telling them before you get married, because all that stuff is going to come haunt you and you're behind later. Either it's going to be a few years, a decade, or further. But stuff, does come out unless you're taking it to your grave and it's something that you had a secret with, someone else, then I guess maybe that's different. But as long as it's not going to hurt the family if you're holding secrets like that. But I believe that anything that you share with your spouse should be shared with your spouse. You don't have to share these secrets with your spouse's mother, mother-in-laws and cousins and all this. If you trust your partner, because that's you said I do to them, and you're having kids with him or her, then you should be able to, share that. But at the same time, it's risky because we as people don't know how to vet properly. We're picking the wrong partner. So I'm gonna stop it right there because it really depends.
We're gonna drill in. Heritage Tribe. What's your thought about that? Secrets. Is it safe sometimes to keep some secrets, even in the context of a marriage?
Oh man, secrets. I don't know. I'm not a secret keeper, so I very open and transparent. I don't think it's a good idea to come into a marriage with a whole bunch of skeletons in your closet. Because like you said, that door is going to open, and then what? So it depends on the secret keeping. What type of secrets are you keeping? And that's subjective to each person. You know what I mean? So I'm a little off with that one.
I would say there's a distinct difference. Secrets are based in selfishness. Privacy is based in selflessness. I believe that, we all deserve a certain level of privacy. We are, individuals,
Yes.
humans.
Should be
And,
respected.
we kind of run our pages indicative of the way we run our life. She is Mrs. She said, I am Mr. So she's Nikki and I'm Sean. And we were that before we met. Contrary to anybody's belief, we were absolutely people before we met each other. And then we come together and we are Harris Tribe Media Group. He said, she said, love and abundance, because when we come together, we are the Harrises. And I know she had a life before me. I had a life before her. And there's certain privacies that we have a liberty of keeping. There's certain things I don't want to know. I'm not a nosy person. I'm not one of those, how many, what day,
Right.
where'd you go? How did it fit? No, I could care less about what happened before me because I'm the last. I'm it. That's the most important. So, when it comes to secrecy, I think that's very selfish, whether, you're keeping your secrets because you're trying to protect, quote unquote, what you think may be your spouse's feelings or whatever the case may be, your reputation. But again, it's all selfish to me. But privacy, I think, is something that we all are delegated and have a liberty to use and exercise to a point, of course. But I think there's a distinct difference, and once we get a handle on that, I think that's where the respect in a relationship comes, to know that we are both unique individuals, and when we come together, we become amazing. Hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
That was different. You're saying privacy. I like that. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
Are we just we going random, or what are we? Okay, I'll jump in. Listen, I love quotes. After watching that movie, The Great Debaters, I fell in love with quotes since I was a shorty. I'd like to start this off with a quote by Friedrich Nietzsche that says, "The strength of a person's spirit would then be measured by how much truth he could tolerate, or more precisely, to what extent he needs to have it diluted, disguised, sweetened, muted, or falsified." Not we all can't handle truth. Certain truths could really mess us up. Now, as it pertains to women, if you add that imagination to it, right, then that could really turn a truth into something that's not even. It kind of reminds me of that saying that's saying, if your woman never accused you of cheating, you're probably ugly. All right, and so women love guys with options. But then again, with those options come they're thinking that a man is too weak to stave off those options. A lot of times women think that a man is going to jump on every option that come about, right? So here's what I'm saying. Perhaps she doesn't need to know about the conversation that you had with Keisha at the water cooler, right? Because pretty soon that conversation that you had with Keisha at the water cooler turns into you bending her over in the custodian closet, right? I mean, you gotta be seeing her outside of work. I'm just saying.
Hold on, Searchers. Let me address the audience. Y'all, please stay out of the custodian closet, sir. Please continue, sir. Please continue, sir.
And that's what I'm saying. Sometimes, it's probably not a good idea sometimes to feed into a woman's imagination. Now, if we talk about the definition of privacy versus secrecy, yeah, I agree. If something is a secret, then yeah, that has selfish implications. But I do believe that privacy, yeah, I'm an individual, and hey, you chose me, right? And if you understand that I have options, that's one thing. But you got to understand that I'm not. It comes down to trust. But I will say that I'm guilty of I'm not telling you everything because you don't need to know everything, because I know once I tell you one thing, now you're gonna make it snowball into something else. That wasn't even what it was.
So
Yeah.
okay, let me give everybody else, and then I see Lady Di. Let me get Man of Prestige, Miss Mo, and Black Man. We got to come back to that, Sir Charles. Don't forget that we got to come back to that.
Mm-hmm. No, and that's simply what it is, because women are maybe this is naturally imaginative. They can go down the rabbit hole. Whereas men, we typically don't have that much. We ain't got that kind of time to be going down the rabbit hole. Or if we've done it, we've done it in our younger years, and we realized it didn't serve us well, so we got over that. Women do it their whole lives. Yeah, the rabbit hole. And so, yeah, some things probably need to be left out. Otherwise, now I'm saying there are some women out here who can handle high levels of truth, all kinds of truth. So I'm saying it depends on your woman. If you know your woman finna make up stuff from the truth that you told her, and you know that's the truth is stranger than fiction, right? Some men lie. Some men lie because the truth don't even make sense. The truth. Go ahead and lie, because I can't. If I tell the truth, you really ain't gonna believe me. I'm gonna go ahead and make up that shit. Even though the truth might be harmless, the truth could be harmless, but the truth is stranger than fiction. Let me go ahead and choose fiction.
Yep.
I can't disagree with that. A Black Man, what's your perspective on this, man?
Oh, Lord have mercy. I think that Brother Charles is on to something, and something is on to Charles. You know, I do agree with that. I think that sometimes even the truth is just too overwhelming. The lie just sounds a little bit better. And because some men have to walk on eggshells. Let's just be real about it. Some men have to walk on eggshells. You baby, where you been? Well, I went up with the fellas, or I went to the grocery store, which will be simpler. Because last time I said this, men do this. There's a process in a man's mind. Wait a minute, last time I told her the truth about going out with the guys, she was mad for 3 days. I went to Kroger's, and the line was long.
See,
I got my debit card, got out.
Here's my rebuttal to that. If they want, what I've seen, women who is how they ask. If they ask in a specific way,
come on.
She already knows. She's trying to see that imagination. Are you at Kroger's? In the custodian closet at Kroger's? She's trying to make it make sense.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, because some women will do that just to test you. Oh no, you wasn't at Kroger's because I was there. See, you have those women there as well. So you wasn't at Kroger's. So where were you? See, that's why I can't trust you. And then it goes into something else. So you got to be.
That's that nurturing. That's that nurturing mother she was talking about. That's not a nurturing wife.
And look, I don't mean to throw this in here, y'all. But have y'all ever been accused and you be questioning if you did it or not? I mean, you'd be like, hold on, did I do this? I might have, actually. I mean, if you ain't even been accused to that level, listen, you should be very grateful for that.
Where was I yesterday?
I just say I was at where I said I was gonna be. That's it.
Oh my God.
I think to his point, so if you have a woman that's not ready to receive like the truth, so I'll just use me. I like to go give a little personal experience. There was a time I wasn't ready to receive everything. And now I wasn't making stuff up like, in the closet and stuff. But there was times where my imagination is just very vivid and wild. So my scenarios would be like to the extreme. So I would take, like, if we're at the gas station, right? The gas station, now we're pumping gas. The gas, grows all over the ground, and now there's a fire. I was one of those. So I'm saying in a dramatic way. So he would be like, all right, she's too dramatic for me. So I don't know about that. So he kind of like taught me how to like not be so extreme with things and not to have so many different, A to Z type of situations. Let's just stick with this one. If the next one comes, then we deal with it. So I had to learn that. And now today he can pretty much, from what I think, he could tell me anything. He's very open and honest, and I'm not so dramatic. So it works. So I say that to say that you could work on it. You just have to know it's an issue and then go from there. So.
Hey, real quick, I want to jump in real quick and say, hey, Mr. He said did a great show on women's intuition. If anybody caught that, this is a great time to talk about this women's intuition that we talk, the myth of the woman's intuition.
I was gonna say women don't have intuition. What are y'all talking about? They're just nosy.
Whoa. You said what happened?
Women don't have it. So we all have the same level of intuition. Women use it for the past and the present. Men use it for the future. That's pretty much it. We call it foresight. They call it a woman's intuition. They're just nosy. They're FBI agents.
Oh wow.
Why women's intuition always something negative?
Yeah, I think my wife works for the CIA. I think
anything
happens.
That's all love, black man. That's all love.
I'm gonna let you have anything happens, my wife can have a text thread with my sisters and her sisters. Oh, they'll find it out in 24 hours. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Come on, y'all wrong.
I'm not lying to you.
Y'all wrong.
But we talk about these things that are purely non-factual based. That a woman says that I feel it, and I just feel like this lens to that where a woman, her imagination is so vivid that she really believes she's Miss Cleo out here. Call me now, they said.
Let me tell you a point that I was thinking about. I was thinking about something, guys.
Okay, so let me understand this because I didn't even answer the question yet. So what you're saying is when a woman says, okay, hold on. So you're saying when a woman says, oh, I got a feeling, oh, it's a bunch of crap. But if a man says, oh, it's good, then, huh?
No, there's nothing wrong with having a feeling or a hunch, but women act on these feelings and hunches as if
it's real.
Fact for real. I've had women get mad at me.
Well, it all depends. Depends on who you're dealing with.
I've had women get mad at me based on their imagination.
Women never acknowledge the 99 times their feeling was wrong.
It's just man.
Only when their feeling was substantiated one time, they was always right. That's the whole time.
Hallelujah, somebody.
I can agree with that. That comes with accountability, taking responsibility for when you're wrong too. But don't Sir Charles.
That trigger mic had me pumped up, man.
Miss Mo, the only thing is women, when they got that imagination, they don't know when they're wrong. They can't accept when they're wrong, right? So even
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
No,
I understand.
life is wrong.
Did we just break a long-standing myth of yours? Did we just bust that up? I have a feeling like we just kind of did a ninja move on
what?
That women have like little premonitions and intuitions.
Premonitions.
Do you actually believe that?
You know what? You know what we're gonna do right now? We're gonna get off this. We're gonna get off it.
I think that's a smart idea.
No. We're gonna get off that because that's a whole nother show, and we ain't got time for that right now. I still need to answer the question.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a whole nother thing.
So I will say this though. It really is a good point, and I wanted to make this point that I think the imagination we're talking about, that intuition, is two things. One, women used to be afforded the opportunity to cultivate that. That's one. And then with that imagination running out, would you guys say that that's connected? Miss Mo, this is directed for you and then everybody else as well. That when a woman's imagination runs wild and she's considering everything, isn't that kind of part of nurturing, because you're trying to protect what you have, and so you're thinking about all kind of stuff, and you're actually living on defense because you're protecting what you're nurturing. So that, Miss Mo, that's for you, and then everybody else can kind of chime in on that one.
Well, my thing is, yes, women have this imagination, yes, but then I will also say that we can have it run wild. Yes, I agree with What that one? That one up there. I
Sugar
can't
Mike?
remember.
Trigger Mike.
Yes, Trigger Mike. I can agree, and Sir Charles, I can agree with that. Yes, we have the imaginations, but it goes back to what I said. It all depends on who you are dealing with. It really does. You can't group all women. You can't rope all women together in that bowl. You can't do it because there are women out here that take that seriously and not with the whole, imagination running wild and just a bunch of craziness. No, you have women out here that are legitimate. They feel so okay. If I met Sir Hale, Sir Charles, don't be laughing at me. You laughing at me now? Don't have me
You
come
know I
through
love you,
there.
Miss Mo. Come on.
I can meet somebody, and I'm quite sure this has happened to everybody. You don't have to be a woman for this to have happened to you. Now, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. Now, if you meet somebody for the first time and you get a certain vibe or something from them, but you just can't put your finger on it, but you know it ain't good, but you just don't know what it is and you can't explain it. I've had that happen to me several times, and it ain't got nothing to do with my imagination. I just can't put my
Intuition.
finger on it, and it's something that's not good. I can't put my finger on it. I can't explain it, but I know I feel something. Just like when you meet people, you either get a good vibe, a bad vibe, or indifferent.
Well, I think one thing that needs some attention is the fact that a lot of these women, although they're feeling it, nobody's denying that they're feeling it. That is that they act on it as if it's fact. And I really would like to have the statistic of how many marriages are dissolved based on a feeling that is unfounded. I really
That's different.
I would like to. I dare to say I bet that number is high because I'm a
But
victim.
that's
I'm not
different.
only a victim. I'm also.
But that's different. That's different. You should not act on something that you don't know is for a fact and everything is just up here and you don't see no proof or nothing, no evidence, nothing like that. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That is
And it happens a
intuition,
lot.
though.
And
I mean, what she just described is intuition. And again, my only question, I would combat this whole conversation with a question. What does intuition look like on the other side of the spectrum, positively?
What do you mean?
Positively.
They don't have an answer. That's what we're trying to say.
What do you mean?
I felt something. I knew he was doing something wrong. I knew you was doing this. I knew you was doing that. Versus
Right.
the intuition that I had when I saw this man in the club, it pulled me toward him in a positive way.
See,
The
that's the kind
intuition
of stuff
knowing
I'm
I was
talking about.
pregnant.
That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I ain't
Yeah,
talking about
but a lot of
Yeah,
women, this is what
you
they're
didn't
saying,
actually
that
say it.
a lot of women, a lot of modern women get in relationships
Come on.
and our tuition tell us something and it's nothing. And we bring it to
Like
our
block.
men and then it causes a whole types of ruckus and you feel it so deep in your soul and it's nothing.
And it's capped because what does the intuition look like? I just
When
had a
it's good.
feeling that he was being faithful to me.
Right.
I just had a feeling that he was loving and
that?
adoring me
Mhm.
inside of his heart. So I looked in
Positively.
his phone.
Oh,
I
that's a
saw
good point. I
nothing,
see what you're saying.
and I told him, so you get head all week
All
because I
week.
went in your phone off of good intuition and I
Yes.
found nothing. So when you come in, salty
What?
peanuts and everything. But that doesn't happen. Intuition is only taught on the negative
On
side.
negative, yeah.
So I went in his phone and I knew it. I saw that number and it was Felicia.
Come.
It's cat. There's no such
Well,
thing as
Now,
How
Mr.
many
He
women
said,
would
like the
Mr.
admit
brother
He
said.
said,
There's
Mr. He said,
foresight, there's
you-
looking ahead, and that is what it is. It is no
Right.
intuition. The rest of that shit is
there's no
not. I'm
reason for
sorry.
there's no reason for a woman to fall asleep and wake up and say, "Where you going? See your bitch?" Right? Because you dreamed it. You had a bad dream, and you say, "The Lord showed me that you're cheating in my dream." No, it was a couple of glasses of wine you had before you went to bed, and
But
it
I
steered you in the wrong
agree.
direction. And now you got up talking about where you going. You going to say your bed, baby? What you talking about? I'm going to work.
And do you even know what dreams are? Dreams are, I think, what is it called?
Unconscious thoughts.
Manifestations of things that you consciously took in but didn't really think on. You only see, what is it? Like, we only perceive less than 10% of what we're actually seeing. right? If my window was open, I would know that if there's a Range Rover going past, that's my neighbor such and such that just got home, and my body knows they just got home, but my face is forward, right? So there are things that you're seeing out in the environment that will manifest that dream into you. It's not intuition or anything. It's your subconscious mind giving you signals and using all the skills and abilities you have. Like I think women, I think it's natural for them to think it's intuition, but what the word we don't use that it's actually synonymous with this is instinct, right?
There we go.
It's just instinct. Women, you don't know that your man, if your man is actually doing something, you don't know. It's not your intuition talking about it. It's the fact that he didn't kiss you for the last 3 weeks. It's the fact, like, it's actual several real physical cues that you have. It's not you spiritually materializing anything, right? It's you actually taking all the subconscious and making it conscious to make a determination that, okay, something might be going wrong.
But I agree. But I agree with. I'm sorry, Lady D. I agree with Mrs. She said, and I also agree with Mr. He said. I agree with what both of them said. It's a left and a right. It's a good and a bad. You know what I mean? I agree with both things. The instinct can be from a good place and also not so good place. I agree with both things.
But I've never heard that though. I've never heard a woman say,
I want to get Lady Dad's response as well.
So what Trigger Mike was saying, I was gonna say that, like, if a man, for example, we're talking about a man going out and messing around with a woman. So if a man does not say or do things that's going to make his woman feel, appreciated, right? So what you normally do, I'm just going to throw some stuff out there. You slap her on the butt. You say that she's pretty. I like your hair. I like your outfit. That looks sexy on you. The normal stuff. Or if she goes out to work or just goes out, instead of, you used to kiss her on the cheek before she left and say, I love you. You don't do it. You just say, all right, see you later. So those type of things, if you consistently start to treat her like a little friend, then she's going to think that you out there, romancing somebody else. So that's where that intuition or instinct or imagination starts to run her wild because she's not receiving this attention. A lot of women love that. So that's why they're on some of them. Now, I'm not speaking for everybody. There are women who are on Instagram and Snapchat and all of these type of apps because they're trying to seek attention. It's just from the wrong people. They're getting it from strangers instead of getting it from the ones that's next to them. And sometimes, besides insecurities, like I said, this is a whole nother show, but besides insecurities, sometimes it is from the lack of what the man is not giving to his woman. And if you said that you want to be with this woman, you got to know that this woman wants attention. And I'm talking about love and attention, not being aggressive like you do with your boys. She is delicate, she is gentle, and you want her to be, right? You want her to be submissive and all this stuff. Well, you better start giving her some attention so she could feel better doing it than feeling like it's like a chore. Because that's what women think is chore type behavior. So that's all I want to say what Trigger Mike was saying.
So can I say something real quick? There's a lot of women out here that gets attention but still want attention. And
come on, man.
And it does, yep.
My mind rewinds itself back in time and goes to Aisha Curry. Aisha Curry says, I love Steph. That's my baby. That's my boo-boo. That's my bun. We got kids together. He's romantic. We have a great sex life. She said, but I don't get attention from other men, and I want that.
Oh, that whole thing was dumb, and it's still dumb.
Okay, but that's celebrity status. But let's talk about the other women. I guarantee you right now, there are women out here right now that are doing great things right now. I know Google didn't come on while I'm talking, but anyway, so there's a lot of women out here right now. If you go to them right now, go ahead, somebody. This damn thing that came on while I'm talking.
Look, I was trying to give you the other side because some men need to hear that. But you already know what side I be on. A lot of y'all women don't, you get attention and then you want to get attention from elsewhere because you want a whole lot of multiple people, right? You're trying to be like men and all this type of stuff. So you want multiple people because you're bored he's boring, he's not attractive enough, he ain't making enough money, so let me go seek attention outside on Instagram because I don't like my life and I'm trying to go fill the void and see what's greener over there. There's women like that, and I think majority of women are like that. That's the modern woman that's like that.
Right.
Okay. And that's an issue. You know, you shouldn't be wanting those type of things. You should be appreciative of your man because let's say he is, you know, paying all the bills. All right. You could be out in the street. No, but he's paying the bills. He's paying for your car. He's paying for your clothes. He's paying for your food and all these type of things, your phones, your computers, all the type of things that you have, but you're unappreciative and want him to always say, I love you when you walk outside the door. Always remember, it's not always roses. It doesn't mean he don't love you. It's just that maybe he's occupied right now. So give that man grace. I play both sides because it is both sides. I just wanted to make sure men.
Wait a minute. Did you?
I appreciate it.
But yeah,
That's
Give a
right.
man grace.
He is saying something.
Everybody.
Yes, honey.
This is
Yes.
Lady B.
Yeah, my girl. Yes.
She's on punishment tonight. She's on punishment tonight. Black man, let's Black Man go, and then we're going to do final thoughts for everybody. This has been a great show. Black Man, final thought. Well, on this subject is on you.
Yeah. So, I mean, I definitely agree with you. There's this gentleman that is on, I think, TikTok or Instagram. He goes around social areas where couples are, and he walk up to the couple and say, "Hey, listen, how do you love each other? How long have you been married?" You know, and he said, "Hey, one thing I want to know." He said, "You guys love each other? You trust each other?" Absolutely, absolutely. He said, "Okay." He goes to the wife. He said, "Can you give your phone to your husband, open up your DMs, and let your husband reach your DMs?" And 90% of those couples, the women said, "No, we don't do that because we trust each other. He ain't got to look at my DMs." And 90% of those women would not give their phones up to their husbands, and the husbands looking like, "Whoa, what are you hiding?"
That's a shame,
right? Because dudes are in those DMs, especially when wives are out here exposing themselves, breast out, butt out, laying across the bed with the sheets across the curves of your body, and dudes like, "Damn, girl," and you like, "Oh, hey, big head," and that's how it starts.
Black Man, that's it right there. So like, you can't control who's in your inbox, but if you're like creating customer service where they keep coming back, that's where the problem is. And you're
exactly
right. A lot of women are doing that. Good point. Good
right.
point.
Good customers.
Shout out to customer service. That was a good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, we got to wrap up really quickly. So, Black Man, final thoughts. We'll start with you, and then we're going to go around. Please let's know what your final thoughts on the show and call out your platform as well.
Absolutely. Hey, great show tonight, man. My final thoughts is, everybody needs to start loving each other more. I think overall. I think there's a level of love and commitment that just has been lost. Everybody's selfish. Everybody's out for themselves. People are married, separate bank accounts, hidden secrets. It's just too much out here. And I think that in the end, love conquers all. And I think everybody should love each other. I'm going to take the last 15 seconds to say, Sir Hale, that I'm proud of you. I think that your growth is amazing. I think that you're doing an amazing job. We've been together since the beginning of time of our YouTube in the YouTube streets. And I want you to know that I'm proud of you, man. I see your growth, and I have nothing but love for you and everybody else on the panel. Guys, if you want to follow me, I'm at Black Men Unfiltered Network. Please go over, like, and subscribe over there. And you'll be able to turn that notification button on as well. So you'll be able to see us when we go live Monday through Friday. We have a show every day on the Black Men Unfiltered Network. So come on over and holler at your boy. Appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good night.
BMU, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Miss Marie X, you've been a great panelist. What's your final thoughts? And please let us know how we can connect with you as well.
All right. First of all, I have enjoyed sitting on this panel this evening. Very interesting dialogue and very good questions. And it always gets me to thinking as well about, as far as on my platform, what can I do? What kind of dialogue can I start having, to further try to educate young people, young women, young ladies, young girls, because that's kind of like my focus, because there's a lot going on out here with the women and, the modern women, there's just a lot going on. So I try to try to push more education to the younger generation as far as women. And if males can get something from what I'm saying too, that's even that's even better. But I have to agree. We need to start loving each other more. We need to start listening to each other more, not just to react, but to listen, to hear what each other is saying. And then, say what we need to say. We need more understanding, more grace, like Mrs. She said. Um, but that is enough. I'm going to get off my soapbox. I have really enjoyed myself. You can follow me on YouTube and social media. Miss Mo Reacts on YouTube, MSMOE, and the word reacts. And you can find me on, Instagram. Let's Talk with Mo. Uh, but yeah, I had a blast, and I really enjoy the Super
I was
Sunday
waiting on it.
Sir Hale show. If you're not watching the Super Sunday show, I don't know what you're doing. And ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit your bell notifications for Sir Hale and all of the other people that are on the panel that have YouTube channels. Go check them out. It don't cost nothing. It don't cost a thing. Miss Mo's out.
Yo, Miss Mo dope, y'all. Miss Mo is dope. All right, y'all. President Miss Mo reacts. All right, Lady Di, it has been a pleasure having you today. Great perspective. You acted up a few times, but you redeemed yourself. And we really appreciate you for being here tonight. Please let us know your final thoughts and where we can connect with you at on social media.
Okay. So thanks for having me. It's funny because Chantel Simone, she had told me about your page and you hit me up today to be on the show. So thank you. It was a blast. I loved everyone's perspective and how diverse it was, but also very positive. So thanks for having me. My channel is called Dating to Marriage Support, and I go by the name of Lady Di. So you can follow me at Lady Di DTM, which stands for Dating to Marriage. You can follow me on all social media platforms. I have a YouTube channel as well. Follow me there. I have live shows Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You can check that out. I also do free coaching for couples or anyone who needs my services with me and my husband. I do that online. And I also make a ton of videos, reels, shorts, and everything kind of like what you see today. I try to bring more of the truth instead of kind of, making it a little soft for people. I like to just bring the hard truth because I feel like that's how people should learn that way. If I start talking a little too nice, then people don't receive and they don't change. So definitely enjoy my videos that I post. But yes, check me out. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lady Di. All right, guys. Let's talk. Let's bring up Trigger Mike. Thanks so much for being here tonight, man. I think this is your first time on the show. Great perspective. I love the statistical analysis you provided and the philosophical dialogue. Thank you so much, man. What's your final thoughts tonight, and how can we connect with you on social media?
Final thoughts. I mean, great conversation. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, this has been such a good panel with so many intellectual viewpoints. I'm glad to be here to fellowship with y'all. That's what it felt like at times. You can catch me on all social media platforms at Trigger Mike Show. All right. And starting tomorrow, I'm going to be testing my own show on the Lapeef Network as well. So you can catch me there. I'm really trying to do big things in 2023 and get word out. My perspective is a little different. My name is not Trigger Mike because I trigger people. My name is Trigger Mike because I am a competitive shooter. So just letting you know that. All right. So, yep, that's how you can get in touch with me. Please follow me and watch my shorts on YouTube as well. Hopefully you can get something from it. They're very informative, if I'd say so myself.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much for being here. Truly appreciate you, man. All right, guys. Let's bring up the one of the yellow men, Mr. Man of Prestige. Good to see you again after a few weeks, man. What's your final thoughts, and how can we connect with you?
Yes, sir. Sir Hill, good to see you, man. And happy New Year to everyone. My final thoughts are this. The way I think of secrets is, I think of it as short term, long term, and obviously mid term. There are going to be moments in life where some information are just not readily available, or you don't make them readily available, or you don't make them available, or they are available long term. It's I don't know why you would want to do a long term relationship marriage by keeping secrets. I'm not sure why, but in the short term, I do understand that, situations happen. There are situations where you have to protect your partner from certain informations in the short term. It could be somebody passed away and you're waiting to release that information in a way, in a conducive environment and things like that, right? And but if you're keeping a secret from a standpoint of you know that this is going to hurt them, you're right. It's probably going to hurt them, and eventually it will come out. And I think you're better off staying away from marriage if you're going to live such lifestyle. If you're going to, it's not, it's pointless. But yeah, that's my thoughts on secrets and the topic itself. Ultimately, you can find me, my platform is called Man of Prestige. I am the host. My name is Ola. We talk about relationships. We talk about relationships. We talk about seduction, attraction. We talk about emotional intelligence, patience, love. And I believe personally that if you don't understand these things, you're probably better off staying away from marriage too. In 2023, you will collect if you don't understand how these things work. If you're trying to jump into marriage, marriage is a fantastic institution. It's designed to protect all of us, and there's just too many passionate things happening around life. And if you don't put that within a structure that's designed to protect you, it won't work. And also, trashy people will create trashy marriages. So like anything else that's worthwhile, it takes work because it's highly rewarding, right? So let's just keep that at the back of your mind. And any short-term gratifications is exactly that. You have the rest of your life, so always think in long terms. Thank you so much, Sahil. It's always a pleasure, man. And Happy New Year again, 2023.
My God, Man of Prestige. Thank you so much, man. All right, Harris Tribe, y'all know what time it is. What's your final thoughts on the show? And let us know how we can connect with you as well.
Oh man, secrets in a marriage is unhealthy. We need to get back to learning how to communicate and keeping that open dialogue way past the honeymoon stage, because marriage is longevity. We've been together 25 years. So having that open communication is important. And from the beginning, you should discuss those things. What do you consider to be a secret? You know what I mean? What is unacceptable? And all these things need to be discussed in depth, in my opinion, to not create a problem later. Try to be proactive in your relationships and in your marriage instead of reactive. A lot of us do that. We're kind of taught that. So let's begin to try to, get into the proactive mode when it comes to our family, being diligent with our children. It's very important. So that's where I stay with that.
Thank you for having us, Sir Hale.
Absolutely.
Great conversation, amazing panel, and we love being here. We appreciate the intelligent conversation and the conversation continuing to move forward. So thank you for all you do. Shout out to the panel, shout out to the chat, and everybody have an amazing week. And that's us right there.
Yep, right there. Everywhere social.
We out here.
Harris Tribe, I appreciate y'all. Much love to you. Thanks so much for being here. All right, Sir Charles, it's on you, man. What's your final thoughts on tonight's subject? And let us know how we can connect with you as well.
First and foremost, thank you, Sir Hale, for having me this evening. I enjoyed myself immensely, as I do always. Thank you to the other panelists. Thank you to the chat. And essentially, you can find me on all social media handles, Sir Charles the God, with underscores between the words, and also on YouTube. I am one half of Mindfully Misunderstood, where I co-host the show with my brother Cameron. And I do have my own YouTube channel, Sir Charles the God. You can go ahead and subscribe and be my 10th subscriber. I'm handing out $10 bills. But anyhow, so that being said, listen, something was resting on my heart. I think it was given to me by the ancestors, Buddha, the universe, God, the all, or what have you. And we talk about somebody said something that was alarming. I'm gonna make it quick, but it was talking about women feeling essentially unhappy or unfulfilled, and that's what leads to divorce a lot of times. So here, I want to leave women with this. before you call for a divorce, I want you to ask yourself, what is this man dealing with, right? Because a lot of women has this misconception that what you did to get me is what you need to do to keep me. Well, has the dynamic changed, right? I know this guy. I was born the same day as him, the same hour, the same second, right? I know this guy. And he went into a relationship with a woman. And essentially, it started out as he brought her, he would take her on a date, bring her back to the crib, smash, and then send her back home, right? Well, the relationship matured, and it got to the point where, hey, your friends become my friends. Your in-laws become your parents become my parents. Your bills become my bills, right? And so when lives merge, more responsibility was put on that man. Before you know it, he's taking care of parents that aren't his. He's befriending friends that aren't his. He has bills that weren't his at first. He's folding laundry that wasn't his, right? And so it is almost impossible to do the same thing that you did when you first met her because it was so simple. Can it be that it was all so simple then, right? So what I'm saying is before you call, because it's easy for Bob from marketing to just get you that cup of water because he ain't got to fold your clothes. He ain't got to wipe your Alzheimer's dementia having daddies, but he ain't got, I'm sorry. I know this guy, but anyhow, so all he do is get you a cup of water and you're flattered, right? And then next thing you know, he got you pent over, turning you every which way but loose because he showed you something, right? Here's what I'm saying, ladies, before you call for the divorce, make sure you understand what you put on this man. How was this man's life before you met him? And then what did you put on him? Because he may not be able to treat you like he did in the beginning because you put all this crap on him. Come on now. Now, mindfully misunderstood. Thank God for God. That's it. I'm out. Had a great time, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.
Y'all, Sir Charles just cooked on that last one. Y'all take that to heart. Before we get out of here, a couple things. Thank you to those who have given a super chat. Let me call you guys out. Information Man with the $4 super chat. Thank you so much. The Kosher Clinician with a $5 super chat. Greetings, young lion. Good to see you, sir. The Seattle Black Veteran is in the building. He says, salute, Sir Speaks Network and your panel. Good to see you, sir. So glad that you were here tonight. Mr. Let Go, it was good to see you pop through, man. Thank you so much. Big Bad Bull with the $25 super chat. He says, genuine support, peace, and blessings to the panel and chat. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You know what time it is. I got you coming in just a few seconds. And then Brandon L. Jet matched $25. And he said, I'll match Big Bad Bull. IXL also matched this in a Cash App as well. So salute to you, IXL. Let me play the super chat song, and then we're going to wrap up this show with a TikTok video that Lady Di said that spoke to what we talked about tonight. All right, guys, let's pick it up, and then I'll be right back with you right after this.
Pick it up, super chat. Pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. I've been on the flex since flex zone. Neighborhood all in your eardrums. I ain't never scared like Bone Crush. Boy, I got God, don't fear none. My line busy, take no calls. Feels like I don't have no flaws. Snakes in the grass, cut those off. Yo, squad shitty, my bros raw.
You know what I'm getting tired of? I'm getting tired of women saying that they don't want to cook for their man. When it's not just cooking for your man, it's cooking for yourself and your kids. Like, what are you talking about? As women, we are naturally designed to be a nurturer. Do you even know what nurturing means? It means to care for and encourage growth or development of. How are you going to grow and develop without any food? The definition is simple, and so is cooking. What's not simple is the man that's providing for you, going out to work, risking their lives every day to make sure that you're actually happy. So the least you can do is make a decent meal, not only for yourself, but for the entire household. Why is it so simple-minded, one-sided? You eat, he eats, they eat, we all eat. What is the big deal? You want to live a long, happy life, right? A long, happy life with your man, correct? So do the things that is required and stop talking. Take this time to think. Once you start treating your man like a king, he will then start treating you like a queen. If not, stop complaining.
May I have your attention? May I please have your attention? Super Sundays. Yeah, baby, we're back at it again. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Let's get it. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Sir Hale Speaks Super Sundays. I'm glad that you're here. I wanted to take a moment to tell you guys how much I appreciate you. We've been doing these shows for months now, and you guys have been showing up consistently as we take on and we tackle different challenges and different topics. So I appreciate you. But here's what we're trying to do going forward. We want to grow this audience to people who need to hear content like this. And so we need your help. How can you help us? That's a fantastic question. Be sure to make sure you hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell for all of the content that we have, particularly Super Sundays. All right, guys, sit back, relax, enjoy. Make sure you invite somebody to Sir Hale Speaks Super Sundays. We're getting ready to go in. We're going to have a good time. Happy Sunday, everybody. Let's get to the show.